Live from the VVR studios in downtown Boston, it's showtime. Welcome to Violent Vinyl Radio. I'm your host, Des, and as always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. First up, the podcaster, holding all the aces, Dangerous Dave.
Hey, everybody.
And last but not least, the podcaster who likes the dark side of the beat, Lisa.
Misogyny was born of the fear of women.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. I was talking to Lynn a little about this. Like, I never understood this idea that, like, women couldn't play guitar as good as men, like, or be musicians. Like, I never got it. It wasn't like we're comparing, like, you know, she can't play in the NFL. Like, yeah, I get it. She's a woman and these guys are fucking 280 pounds. No, this is a guitar playing. Like, I just never got it. I never got it. But we'll get into it.
Yep.
All right, you degenerate 80s kids, smash those earbuds into your skulls and let's do this thing. As always, the mission of this show is for us to introduce each other and you, the listeners, to albums and bands which you may never have heard before, while also discussing the classics. So sit back and enjoy the show. Dave, speaking of the show, where can they find it?
We are available on most podcast outlets. Also, check us out on YouTube. Give us a listen and tell a friend. Please like, subscribe, and share. Find us on our social medias. We are on Instagram at VVR Podcast Insta, and we are on Facebook at Violent Vinyl Podcast. Hey, that reminds me, I've been wearing my official Violent Vinyl Devil shirt this week. Where can our listeners get one?
Funny you should ask, Dave. They can go over to our merch store at vvr.printify, printify.me, and they can pick up their coffee mug. I would suggest you get that in the large version or an official VVR Devil Record concert shirt. There you go. Lisa, can we use any of those other designs that we got?
You can use all of them. Absolutely. There was a bunch too.
Yeah. And I don't even think we need to like bother him to get like the super print if you don't want to. I mean, they're so clear and crisp. I think we'll get those awesome shirts out of just what you've given me. Yes.
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's put them up.
All right. Yeah. Well, I want to slow release them. I want to slow release them.
They're
because
so
you know
good.
Yeah, because we haven't sold enough of them to you cheap motherfuckers yet. So you're going to have to buy a few more of the original version before we give you some more to choose from. But I'm thinking maybe around the spooky season, like maybe in October, we'll release another version. Okay, let's head over to the mailbag. Does that sound about right, guys?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just keeping it on course. I got a couple emails. I mean, I don't want to shine like bad light on Jay because he was totally just joking. But he sent me a text that was like supposedly like him talking to me. It was like, "Hey Jay, we're doing Flash Addict in the Should They Have Made It section." Des, that's awesome. Hey Jay, it's going to be on the Vixen episode. Aw. I think he would have preferred to have been on like to have been done like on the Bang Tango episode, but you got Vixen, Jay. Just fucking suck it up. Lisa or Dave, anybody send you a message?
I didn't get any.
Why does no one ever send Dave any messages?
Nobody likes me.
That's so funny.
Oh, that's funny. We also did do Magnolia over on Hey, did you ever see that movie for radio, a crossover listener for both shows. Just an awesome dude. He supports both shows. He buys shirts. He buys merch. I was more than happy to do it for him. Unfortunately, it's the first time I've given a movie a 0. Oh, yeah.
That's one of my favorite movies.
Oh, Jesus. Then you should seek help. This movie is fucking awful. I gave it a 0. Yeah, Mickey demanded he buy a second shirt just for wasting her time.
Oh, no.
But yeah, no, it was fun. We had a lot of fun doing it. And
you just don't like art house movies is the problem.
I do like art. Go listen to the podcast. You'll know why I don't like that movie.
I'll listen for sure because that's one of my favorites.
It was funny though. He texted me immediately. He's like, "So Des, I'm guessing you didn't like the movie." Like, dude, I went berserk on this one. Okay, it was like I took out my hatchet and I chopped it to pieces. Lisa, I know you got mail because everybody loves Lisa.
I don't know why.
Right.
Yeah, I do get a lot of mail. So honestly, I got a ton of mail about the amazing Dylan adding music to the episode and how incredible it made it, and just so much better to follow. And you're not just kind of listening to us yap about something and not having any context. It really lifted it up. It was amazing. And I got tons of messages on that.
I agree.
Yeah. I also got a note from Taylor, who designed our shirt, which you can get at vvr.printify.me.
Don't buy it, you cheap fuckers.
Yeah. But the reason that Taylor messaged, he isn't really a fan of glam music in general. He's like a Steely Dan Fish kind of guy. But he was excited we did Junkyard because it's one of the few bands that he loved from back then, mainly because of Brian Baker, who played in Dag Nasty, which is one of his favorite bands. So he was really excited to hear about that. We got a note from JL McKee, who said that All the Time in the World and Slippin' Away still hold up today.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and I think you said that Slippin' Away is one of your favorites of all time.
My favorite song from Junkyard.
Yeah. And also, I just got a ton of mail just about us doing Junkyard in general and the timing of it and how people were happy just to hear about the band and think about them after, obviously, the loss of David. And for how many messages I got this time compared to even like episodes on Faster Pussycat and LA Guns, Junkyard was not an underground nothing band. Everybody loved them.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I would also just like to remind the listeners that Dave cut Slipping Away.
Yeah, I know, right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish more people gave them support back in the day. And of course, even just when David was here. And this is, why we talk a lot of the time. It's like, if you have an opportunity to see a band, go see them, because you never know when the last chance is going to be.
Do it now.
Do it now.
Do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa. So on my script, it says, no, okay. So that's it. I know where we are. I'm not lost. I know where we are.
Yes.
Okay. Any more email?
Nope, that's about it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you guys today on this podcast, we're going to have fun. We're going to have so much fucking fun. It's going to take plastic surgery to get the smiles off your faces. You're going to be whistling zippity doo out of your fucking assholes. All right. So buckle up. Here we go. Tonight, we will be discussing Vixen, the self-titled debut album by Vixen, produced by David Cole, the great Richard Marx, and Nick Niger, and Spencer Profer. That's a lot of dudes. That's a lot of people getting involved.
Rick Niger, I think.
Nair?
Nair? Yeah.
Niagara Falls? Okay.
But it's Rick, not Nick.
Oh,
so.
Yeah. Rick, Nick, Marx. It's a lot going on there. The album was released on August 31st of 1988 on EMI Manhattan Records. The album peaked at the number 42 spot on the Billboard 200. It's pretty good. Really 42. Good. I mean, Junkyard didn't appear at all. And I think this is not quite up to snuff with that Junkyard album, but that's just me.
I think a lot of people, rock people back in the day couldn't have cared less about the countdowns and the Billboard charts because it didn't reflect what we were listening to.
Right. So. No, totally. And this album for me was really weird. I'm going to get into it. I had to change my temperature. I had to change what was going on in my mind when I listened to it because I started it off with one mindset. I said, no, stop. I had to rewind it. I'm going to start again with this new mindset. And it made things much better for me. But we'll get to it. The band's lineup was as follows. Janet Gardner, lead vocals and rhythm guitars. Jan.
Good luck.
Kuhnemond. Lisa, please help me.
Kuhnemond.
I like that. That sounds good. Lead and rhythm guitar and backing vocals. Cher Peterson, bass, background vocals. And Roxy Petrucci on drums and backing vocals. Honestly, Cher was the only one that kind of felt a little bit like she didn't quite have the chops I wanted. She was fine. But the rest of these women can really play great. Cher was serviceable. That's what I'll say. She wasn't bad. She was serviceable. Let's do some band facts on this one. Dave, what do you know about Vixen?
Oh, I found out a lot about Vixen.
Oh, boy.
According to Wikipedia, Vixen was formed in 1973 in St. Paul, Minnesota. That is way earlier than I would have suspected. The band's article clarifies that Jan K had high school bands that went under the names Lemon Pepper and then Genesis. I think that one was taken by Phil Collins.
Oh, wait,
I
Dave.
checked.
They also went by Diaper Rash in the movie. What was it?
We're getting to it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I think Genesis was taken by Phil Collins. They were internationally famous by then.
Just barely, though, because it was, I think, just a couple of years later when they became famous. And if there's no internet at the time and you don't know what's going on in the UK, maybe you don't know there's another band named Genesis.
The prog rock band Genesis was internationally famous by then, releasing albums. Anyway, the band then was changed to Vixen before breaking up in 1974 and then starting a new band years later. So the name issue is murky, but the classic lineup that appears on the album was in place by 1987. Their original run ended in 1992. In the late 90s, a version of the band had reformed, but was sunk by legal action over the name. The classic lineup reunited in 2001, but due to disagreements, band leader guitarist Jan K, we're going with that, replaced the rest of the band. After her passing in 2013, the remaining original members continued the band with replacement guitarists. VH1 contacted the original Vixen lineup in 2004 and got them to appear on the show Bands Reunited. That was a good show. You should check it out. The show featured a one-time reunion of the original group that aired in November 2004, coinciding with the re-release of the two first Vixen albums. In 2019, original singer Janet Gardner left the band. Soon after, femme fatale vocalist Lorraine Lewis was announced as the band's new singer. In 2024, Lorraine was out, and their current singer, Rosa L., was in.
Femme Fatale, great band, by the way. You should check them out.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with their work.
Yeah, fantastic. They rock.
Cool. The members of the band have appeared in film. Here's where that connects up. In the 1984 movie Hard Bodies, Janet and Jan, along with different early members of Vixen, appeared as the band Diaper Rash. Also, Vixen appeared in an episode of Cagney and Lacey, and of course, the classic Decline of Western Civilization Part 2, The Metal Years, came out in 1988, same year as this album. Janet, Cher, and Roxy appeared in interview segments.
And who was in the band in the Diaper Rash lineup that was of note?
I don't have their names. Do you want to tell us?
So Pia, I don't know how to say her last name properly. So
Pia Zadora?
Not Pia Zadora. Jeez. Myoso, I'm not entirely sure what the exact pronunciation is, but she was Steve Vai's wife at the time.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
They had more than a cameo in that movie, too. They were like part of the movie.
They were like half the movie.
Yeah, they were like half the movie, so.
Yeah.
I think Steve Vai is still married to his wife, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't look up and check, but it's totally possible.
I think they've had a very long-term relationship.
Yeah, she's done a lot of stuff over the years, too. So
I didn't even know his wife was a musician at all.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
She played bass.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Should have played bass in this band.
Well, she left the band in 86, which would have been right before they kind of moved to LA and blew up. Started this version of the band. Okay, Cher Ross, that is her married name, was very busy outside of Vixen. She was part of several bands, including Contraband, the 1991 supergroup / side project, including Michael Schenker and Tracy Guns on guitar, and Bobby Blotzer from Rat on drums. Also, in 1999, you guys are going to roast me for this, she was part of creating one of my favorite albums, 1999's Jesse and the 8th Street Kids by MTV VJ Jesse Camp.
I love Jesse Camp.
I love Jesse Camp. That album was not great.
That album rules. I love it.
I like Jesse. He was cool.
She and her husband Bam from the Dogs D'Amour played on a few tracks, her on bass, him on drums. and also sang background vocals and co-wrote a large part of the album. I remember the internet hype when this album was coming out. I was desperate to try to get a demo tape or something to Jesse because I wanted to get in on this band to do the tour.
Dave, Bam, drummer from Dogs D'Amour?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah, he's got a silver store over on Facebook. You can go buy handcrafted silver jewelry, and he makes some really, really, really good stuff. So
I've been meaning to buy some. I
believe
believe it's bamtasticsilver.com.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Go over. You know what? After the show, I'm going over there and fucking buying myself something good. Maybe like a metal guitar.
He does custom stuff too, so you could actually like tell him what to build. Build for you. It's really nice. It's rock and roll style too. It's not like classic silver. So
tons of
cool shit.
Tons of great shit.
No dice on getting in on the Jesse Camp band. I was not able to get in touch with him, and I did not get to become one of the 8th Street Kids.
Hey, it's never too late. Maybe you guys could start something new.
Yeah, he's off the radar now.
He's lost a little of the hype.
Yeah, I don't know.
I heard he's looking for you, Dave.
All right. Guitarist Jan K. How do you say her last name? Kunemund. I heard a little bit on YouTube videos. We'll go with that. Of course, died tragically from cancer in 2013. Supposedly a classic lineup reunion was in the works, but they delayed it to allow her to battle the cancer and heal from the sickness. However, it was not to be. She did not publicly disclose her diagnosis, but the remaining members carry on the band's name in Jan's honor. In 2005, Janet, the singer, became a dental hygienist and maintained her license for 15 years, while more recently creating albums with her husband, Justin James.
I think she had her license for longer than that because she was still practicing in 2023, which would have been 18 years later.
Yeah, she cleaned my teeth last week.
All right. Hey, you got to pay the bills in between gigs, man. Before joining Vixen in 1986, Roxy Petrucci formed Madam X with her sister Maxine in Detroit. Yes, this is the same band where shortly after Roxy left, future Skid Row frontman Sebastian Bach would join Madam X.
Dude, he's feuding with Ken Tamplin now, you said?
Yes, we have in the group chat. I threw in a YouTube video I just found of Ken Tamplin versus Sebastian Bach, and Sebastian Bach is shooting back at Ken Tamplin. And
now, correct me if I'm wrong. This Ken Tamplin guy is the guy you guys keep bringing up as the weird singing guy.
He's like a vocal coach.
He's a vocal coach, but he had the Ken Tamplin band back in the day. You can watch his videos. This guy is a real piece of work. All right, that's all I'm going to say. With this little weird tongue.
That's it. The tongue thing. That's what I couldn't remember.
He's like a what are those birds with the colors that like they get the little tongue, it'll take a nut off the finger. It's a little parrot tongue. I can't wait to watch this thing. I really can't.
You can catch the current version of Vixen locally in the Boston area soon. According to their website, vixenofficial.com, they will be at the Tupelo Music Hall in Derry, New Hampshire on January 8th, 2026.
Yeah, playing with White Lion.
But nice. Dave, so speaking of this, though, speaking of Vixen in 2025, so I went back and I watched a couple of recent Vixen videos, one at Mohegan Sun, one somewhere else. And I was like, damn, they're actually cooler than they were back in the day. Like, singer's got a sleeve, guitar player's playing a fucking Les Paul. They're fucking all in black leather. The hair is down. It's black. They look great. I Googled it. How many original members are still in Vixen? Just the drummer. That's it. Different band.
Just Roxy.
Yeah, different band. It's fine.
But that's okay. They're keeping it going.
Hey, it's better than Quiet Riot.
Yeah. There'll be a Tupelo Music Hall in Derry in January, and they will also be at the Wolf's Den in Mohegan Sun Casino, January 10th, 2026. Maybe we should have a violent vinyl field trip to go see Vixen.
Yeah.
Jay was trying to get me to go see a show down in Mohegan Sun. And I'm like, dude, I'm such a degenerate gambler. I'm like, I can't. We went to see Duran Duran. I was there for 5 minutes. Like, I'm going to the fucking casino.
So according to Wiki, Vixen was ranked at number 43 in Rolling Stone's magazine list as the 50 greatest hair metal albums of all time. This album was certified gold by the Recording Industry Association of America on February 6th, 1989. And a remastered CD featuring 6 bonus tracks was reissued by Rock Candy Records in September 2023.
That's cool. Me and Sean Martello, me and Sean went to go see Alice in Chains at Mohegan Sun. You got tickets. And we got there and I literally watched like half of the first song. I'm like, all right, buddy, good luck with this. I'm going out to the play some slot machines.
That little club though is neat because the band is basically playing in the center of the casino. And if you're in the casino close by, you can hear them. It's pretty cool.
Oh, you're talking about the hall though, right?
The Wolf's Den.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No. When we saw Alice in Chains and Duran Duran stuff, that was in like the big hall.
Oh, the amphitheater. Yeah.
Oh no, if it had been at the little one at the Wolf's Den, I would have been fine. Yeah. I could have sat. I could have fucking smashed the fucking slot machine button and watched them. Yeah, no, that's actually a good place to see bands. Dave, you ever played there?
It's a great place. Yeah.
Have you played there, Dave?
I have not played the Wolf's Den, but I've seen several shows there, including Skid Row and Ronnie Spector.
Well, you should fucking book one so I have an excuse to drag the link back to Mohegan Sun.
Yeah, if we got any listeners who have a connection at the Wolf's Den, we could have the Gypsy Freaks play there. That would be good.
That'd be great. I'd love to go see that. Really love to go play.
All right, Lisa, what do you got?
Okay, so the band moved to Hollywood from Minnesota in '86.
Minnesota.
Yep. So this was really the perfect time to be a glam band. I mean, think about the albums that were coming out in '86, right? You had Bon Jovi's 7800 Degrees. Motley Crue, I think, was on Theater of Pain at that point.
Yeah, in between Theater and Girls.
Yeah, Dokken under Lock and Key, Stryper under Command. And to be honest, and there's a reason I'm mentioning '86 instead of '88, which is when the album actually came out. Because in my head, and I'll have some comments later, this album fits a little bit better in that earlier '80s time frame rather than the later '80s. Because remember, by '88, you kind of have pre-Guns N' Roses and you have post-Guns N' Roses glam, right? So '88 was post-Guns N' Roses glam, and the landscape was completely different. And in my head, Vixen had been around since 1980 in its current form. I think a lot of the songs were probably written around 84, 85, 86, and they didn't get their album deal until '88
on the set of Hard Bodies.
Yeah, on the set of Hard Bodies. And I almost feel like the time frame was a little wonky for them because they were putting all of their really great earlier songs onto this album, but those songs were formatted in like the 84, 85, 86 style.
Right. Earlier 80s style.
Yeah. Definitely earlier 80s stuff. We'll get to that.
Yeah. So I guess the elephant in the room that we need to talk about when we talk about Vixen is the sexism in the industry at the time. Not just in the industry, but among the fans, and not just at the time, but even today.
Sure.
So
is that you play guitar pretty good for a girl?
No, but Dave, I was talking about this with Delin. Being a guitar player, you go on YouTube now, dude. These chicks are fucking ripping fucking lead guitar now, shredding like I never could in my wildest dreams. Like these girls are playing better than Warren DeMartini was playing back in the day. Period. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
All you need is 2 hands and a desire to rock.
And a fucking functioning brain. And everybody knows most women have bigger brains than men. So I never understood the stigmatism that they couldn't play guitar. They have little nimble fingers. Like what?
Yeah. So
Cher, look at me today. I'm fucking nuts.
Oh no.
So Cher, back in the day, she said she would get a lot of really dumb questions from the fans, like assuming that they were kind of a band put together like a boy band style, or asking who are you dating in the business to be able to get this.
That's rude.
That's very rude.
Yeah,
and
rude.
She basically said you just have to develop a good sense of humor. They didn't like the all-female label, despite the fact that they were an all-female band, because they thought it shouldn't matter. And, in my head, it's like when I remember people talking about them, they're like, oh yeah, that's the girl band, or oh, isn't I don't know if I'm going to see them because I don't really want to see girls or whatever it is. It's like girl pilot, girl doctor, girl, anything. You can't just be a doctor. You
Girl
can't
bus
just be a
driver.
guitar player. It has to have a label, and it's disgusting. And
Oh,
I work in a. Go
I'd
ahead.
never trust a female doctor if I had like a surgery I needed done. That's no way.
Des.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
I work in a male-dominated field and have for well over 3 decades, and I can't tell you how, blatant some of the sexism is on a daily basis, and also the covert sexism, because a lot of that is kind of built into people's brains. So back then you had people who would pretend to not care that they were women, but then treat them differently because they were, style them in a certain way because it was how it was. And can you imagine? We always talk about that, even with the other bands, looks were incredibly important in the 80s. Imagine the pressure against these women about their looks in this band. It must have been debilitating.
Well, they look great.
Well, of course they look great, but imagine the pressure if, like a male singer, for example, could have a bad day and come on stage with a t-shirt and his hair down, and everyone would be like, oh, he looks like a rock and roll guy.
Yeah.
You're going to put a woman on stage without makeup and a t-shirt? No, it would never have worked.
No.
Right?
You're right.
Yeah.
Awful.
There's that pressure to, in addition to play great, you look like a supermodel, and
the double
never
standard.
Never eat some French fries because, God forbid you gain 2 pounds.
I mean, you shouldn't eat French fries anyway. They're bad for you.
French fries are delicious.
They are. Speaking of delicious, my wife is downstairs cooking chili. It smells delicious. It's a chicken. It's a chicken chili because I don't eat red meat, but you'd never know the difference. All right, okay. I don't know. Just keep going.
Now we're all hungry. Cool.
All right.
Thanks.
So back in the day, Vixen toured quite a bit and with some pretty big bands. So Scorpions, Bon Jovi, Ozzy on the No Rest for the Wicked tour, Rat, Kiss, Deep Purple. These were mega hit bands. And even more recently, even back 2017 era, they played with everyone from Skid Row to Vince Neil's solo band to Stephen Pearcy, Slaughter, Faster Pussycat, of course, Nelson, Lita Ford, even being on festivals with bands like Backyard Babies, and strangely enough, bands like Exodus and Creator and Carpathian Forest and Wardruna, right? Wow. Which is a band we're going to see next week, I think.
Yeah, that's a hell of a lot.
They played with Backyard Babies?
Yeah, on the festival. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Dying Fetus as well. They played with. That's a hardcore band.
That's not a real band. Stop.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Up. Dying Fetus?
It's a hardcore band, Dying Fetus. Yeah, I saw them at the
of course you did.
Worcester Hardcore Festival last year. I think it was last.
Not only did you see them at the Worcester Hardcore Festival, but it was like the 9th time you had seen them.
I have seen them before. Yeah,
I know you have. I know.
So, yeah, they played on the Kiss Cruise. They played the time when Steve Pearcy and Warren DeMartini at Mohegan Sun, their reunion. Vixen played that night too.
A couple months ago.
Yeah, and played with Quiet Riot. This past year, they played Summerfest with Def Leppard and Sebastian Bach and Enough's Enough, as well as doing the Monsters of Rock Cruise, the M3 Festival. And they've played with Spread Eagle and Ace Frehley and so many more. So, they have respect now, at least in the industry. They probably had less back in the day, but they've done a lot of touring and it's been great. So, when they split up in 1992, it wasn't only about grunge, of course. Many of the members said that there were personal conflicts in the band that got pretty severe. And the members were all really powerhouse creative women. They were songwriters. They were, true musicians that they were kind of vying for creative control of the band, all of them. And it was hard for them to come to agreements on songs and arrangements and things like that.
Catfight. Catfight.
See, this is the sexism, right? Well, if it was a guy band, no one would say catfight.
No, that was Seinfeld. If you know, you know.
Okay.
Catfight.
They also mentioned there was a lot of label pressure at the time, which we've heard from a lot of other bands. Where especially for second albums, the labels would put out the album and then not promote it and then be like, why aren't you guys selling anything? And it's like, well, you're not promoting us anymore. You've moved on at this point. So they dealt with a lot of unscrupulous business people. I think especially because they were women, these labels thinking they could be taken advantage of because they weren't as savvy as the men, but surprise, surprise, very much savvy.
That would have been a cool name for a chick band, Catfight.
I think there was a band named Catfight.
Was
actually.
there? There had to have been a band called Catfight.
Yeah.
Scissor
So
Fight?
Des.
That is
No, just stop.
So in 1997, Janet reformed Vixen with Roxy. This was the year, I believe, or maybe it was the next year that they recorded their album Tangerine. This album is a huge change to their original glam pop style. It was more like a post-grunge band, I would say. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, depending on which side you're looking at, this version of Vixen was sued by Jan for trademark infringement because she owned the name. We'll talk a little bit more about that later.
I watched that interview with her when she was talking about it. We all owned it, equally, and I was pissed that they thought they could just use it without me. So I thought that was an interesting interview.
Yeah. So in 2001, Jan did reform Vixen along with Janet and Roxy and a new bass player, Pat Holloway. But this led to fights with the band management and with finances and pay scales and all of that. Jan ended up during a tour replacing the entire band with new members and continuing on.
That's awesome.
Yeah. In 2004, the original lineup, as Dave said, was reunited for a single show. I believe this was the last time the original lineup completely played together.
Probably.
I think so.
Yeah, because they didn't get to when they were gonna after.
Yeah. In 2012, Cher, Roxy, and Janet contacted Jan about reuniting. However, at the time, Jan said that she was happy with the band she was currently in. They would try again, and there were rumors that they were coming back together, but of course we know we lost Jan in 2013. In 2017, they reformed, and this is a version of the band that has done a lot of touring from 2017 on. They brought in Boston local Britt Lightning on lead guitar. Britt played in the Boston band Jaded. Now, do you guys remember Jaded?
I do.
Yeah.
Because my old band Demon's Alley played a lot of shows with Jaded. So
Yep. They played all over the Boston area.
like Dodge Street in Salem, Mass.
Yep.
Several times.
They were a big part of the WAAF events. I believe they were always at those as well.
Yeah.
So that was a big kind of local band for our history.
Yeah. So we're proud of our local friend.
Britt. Yep. Absolutely.
Getting a good gig.
Yeah. She's played with a lot of people, including playing in a female Guns N' Roses cover band called Paradise Kitty, which is amazing.
I've heard that too.
Yeah. She's the musical director for the Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp as well. She earned a degree in music business from Northeastern and then went on to study at Berkeley, Dave.
Yeah.
Your alma mater.
Probably way after me.
She's quite young. Yep. She's dated a lot of our friends, including Ace Von Johnson. She did some work with Ace, Danny Nordahl, and Chad Stewart from Faster Pussycat, recording some music and playing some songs. And there was a big scandal locally with including her. Where she was accused of cheating on her partner at the time, who was a famous musician with another famous musician. None of it was true. So I want to put that out there. Britt was innocent in the whole thing, and it was absolutely brutal and destroyed a lot of connections for her. So, everybody should work with Britt.
Rumors are bad.
Rumors are bad. It was all false. Yep.
We're going to get to that when we discuss AI a little later.
Uh-oh.
Yep. The new lineup also consists of Julia Lage, I believe is her last name, Lage, something like that.
I don't know how to say it.
She's Richie Kotzen's wife.
Yeah, and she's from outside the U.S., I think Brazil.
Yeah, she's Brazilian, yes. Yeah, she's been in a ton of bands. She has quite a history as well. Yeah. In 2023, Vixen really came back with their release Red. that song generating 500,000 streams right out of the gate, basically. Eddie Trunk personally premiered the song on his Sirius XM radio, Trunk Nation. And Metal Edge hailed it as high octane. It's pretty good. It's not in the similar style of this album that we're doing right now. It's more like pop rock with a bit of an edge in kind of like a Lady Gaga way. And the song follows a little bit of maybe Olivia Rodrigo's "Good for You" song. It's pretty good. I really like it. So
it's like more modern pop rock.
Modern pop rock. Exactly.
Instead of late 80s pop.
Yeah, and really good. And you know how much I love Lady Gaga. So
yeah.
Even though Eddie Trunk ignored my new song, it got 107 likes. 107 likes right out of the gate. Right out of the gate.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go into the ladies. Janet Gardner, born in Juneau, Alaska, but she grew up in Bozeman, Montana, a place where I've spent a lot of time. Her mother was a pianist and organist and teacher.
Wait. You got to expand. You can't just say you spent a shitload of time in fucking East Bumfuck, Montana and not tell us why. What were you doing in Montana?
Yeah, I lived there for a bit. I owned a house there. This was going back a few years. Yeah. I was living back and forth between
hanging out
there and
with
here.
Mountain goats.
Yeah, mountain goats. My favorite thing about Montana. Loved it very much.
Was it like a work thing? Like you were forced to live there, or did you just say I want to check out Montana?
It was a relationship thing.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, we don't want to dig too deep then, unless you want to tell us everything.
There was a lot of trauma there. So.
No. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I no longer have any connections to Montana or my house there. So.
Okay.
Yeah. But beautiful place, by the way, and anyone who hasn't visited there really should, because if you look at photos of there, it doesn't even do it the slightest bit of justice compared to what you see with your own eyes. So,
is there a man buried on a desolate lot of land there that no one will ever find?
maybe. And there, let me be clear, there's allegedly a lot of desolate land and mountain areas in Montana. So,
dude, Dave, remember? And legend has it, the boogers are still there.
Yeah. So she sells seashells by the seashore. She sang in choirs like a lot of singers did and played guitar from a very young age. Joined Vixen in 1983. And at the time was playing lead vocals and rhythm guitar. There was some times in Vixen's history where they were a quintet and not a four.
Yeah.
They had a keyboard player at one point, so they were going back and forth between 4 and 5 members for a while.
Yeah. During this time period when they were famous, they would have like a touring keyboard player off, probably off stage or off to the side, but there's some actual part of the band
imbalance there too, because if you look at who played keyboard on this album, they really don't mention anyone, and they actually don't mention a touring keyboardist anywhere in any of their documentation, even though there was both. So someone out there did some work that they weren't credited for.
You have to dig a little for that.
There's a lot of keyboards on
this album.
A lot of work. Surprised nobody got a little tip of that.
Yeah. So she took a complete hiatus from singing when the band split in 1992, but did rejoin in 1997 for that unofficial version of Vixen. That the Tangerine album would be her last album with Vixen. And as Dave said, she became a dental hygienist and apparently still practices today based on some posts I've seen of her recently, and how absolutely adorable she looks in her scrubs.
I bet she's got great teeth.
She's gorgeous. I mean, absolutely stunning. Yeah. She was singing with the band Scrap Metal in 2010 and 2011. Gardner, Janet, Cher, and Roxy would form their own band along with Gina Style. So when the lawsuit happened, they changed the name of their band from Vixen to VXN. And then figured even that was like too close to the original. So then they changed their name again to JSRG, which stood for Janet, Cher, Roxy, and Gina.
That is a terrible name.
After Jan's death, they did, of course, decide to continue, and Janet was involved in that. Janet released a solo album co-produced and written with her husband Justin James in 2017 on Pavement Entertainment. She played bass and drums on the album as well as sung, with her husband playing guitar. In 2018, she suffered a subdural hematoma, which is basically bleeding in her brain or next to her brain, possibly from an accident. It's a pretty big deal and can be fatal. But she quickly, and I mean very quickly, got back to touring. She officially resigned from Vixen in 2019, with her last appearance with the band being at our local Mohegan Sun in 2018. People were telling her, "Oh, I can't believe you gave that all up. It's not." She says, "It's not like I was giving up 6 figures a year pile of cash. It wasn't a huge financial decision to make. It was more of a sad not to be part of that anymore kind of a decision. That's what kept me being a part of it. But it's been much better for my personal life." We've heard this from a lot of people, that everyone's like, "Why are you leaving all this money on the table?" Think of the Sebastian Bach and Skid Row situation. People don't realize it's not that big of a pile of money, right?
No.
It's more about your sanity.
I imagine I could get Vixen to come play at my house for like $500 and like some chili.
And some chili. Well, the chili, I mean.
Chili. Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's had a pretty big solo career with her husband, James. They released another studio album on May of 2019. According to her socials, her 5th album was just wrapped up in July, which is just a couple months ago. I haven't seen anything from it. It doesn't look like it's been released yet, but I guess that's coming very soon. In 2020, she basically announced that her solo career was now a duo when she officially joined her husband as Gardner James. In an interview, she recalls touring with Ozzy. She says he was clean and sober at the time, and the kids were little. And she was very intimidated by him, but he turned out to be a kind, sweet, funny, easy to talk to guy. She says, he stopped me and just started a conversation about singing and how difficult it has to be out there every night. We shared vocal tips, what to eat, what not to eat. It was amazing. He was really in a good place when we toured with him, and it was great to see him in that good place. She remembers when grunge caused them all to be fired, commenting that they were all working so hard, and radio and MTV simply just stopped playing their style of music. She believes her fans did not turn to grunge, but instead turned to country, which we've heard over and over and over again. And I never knew this back in the day, but I guess that's what was happening. In 2024, rumors swirled that she would rejoin Vixen when singer Lorraine was dismissed, but she posted on social media that she was definitely not going to be doing that. When asked what she thought of the band continuing with only Roxy as the original member, she said, "Well, what's the alternative? That it doesn't exist anymore? Like, of course she's going to support it. There's lots of bands out there playing with very few, if any, original members. And it's really upsetting to people, but nobody's holding a gun to your head. You don't want to go see it? Don't go see it." Her website, Janet Gardner Music, is active, and she and her husband both are active on social media.
Hey, do you guys remember getting fucking tickets at Ticketmaster, like going there the night before?
Yeah,
like
lining up.
Sleeping outside.
Yeah.
That's
Ticketron.
crazy.
Of course.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That was so
There were
much fun.
There were dinosaurs roaming around and pterodactyls flying through the sky.
I made so many friends in like the ticket lines. back in the day. Yeah.
Totally. It was so good. Kids, you don't know what you're missing now. Get down to Ticketmaster with a sleeping bag.
Do they
Nip
even
'em.
have locations anymore? I don't even think
No,
you
don't
can
think-
do
I
that.
highly doubt
They
it.
didn't have malls anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to have the Ticketmaster station like in a department store in the mall. Like you'd have
Yeah.
to go to
Yeah,
J.C.
it was
Penney's
Sears.
or
It was Sears
Macy's
at the
or
Braintree.
something.
Yeah, at the Braintree Plaza. It was at Sears, and we would all go out there and raise hell in the parking lot all night, and then buy our tickets and fucking
We had one up here in North Shore. It was Filene's. Remember
Filene's? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I wonder what the real drama is that they're not talking about. Why Janet doesn't want to sing with them anymore? But
I mean,
that's private apparently.
well, according to what I've seen, I don't think it's super controversial or anything. I think she's just really happy doing her solo work with her husband, and they do. If you look at their music, they release a ton of music, and they're both really great musicians. So.
Sure.
She's fucking 60. She doesn't want to slap on the
Yeah.
spandex pants and go on tour with these chicks. She's all set.
And she could. She
living-
looks freaking great, by the way.
Yeah,
Still.
she's
Yeah.
living a good life.
Mhm.
She's good with that.
Yeah.
All right.
So Jan, of course, we lost Jan in October of 2013 from Minnesota. She grew up playing guitar and keyboards and even performing in her grandmother's nursing home and around the neighborhood. She was the original founder of the band, I guess you could say, forming the band as Lemon Pepper in 1971. The band, of course, changed to Genesis. The weird thing is that they dissolved this band in 1974. And then when she reformed the band in 1980, so that's a 6-year hiatus, she's basically considering it the continuation of that band because she did bring, I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 members from that original lineup. So that's why it's a continuation, even though there was a 6-year drop in there. Fun fact, back in the day, her dad, Carl, was the roadie for Lemon Pepper and for Genesis and got all their gear, all the places that they needed to travel. So they were playing in like Illinois and Iowa and like all around the area of Minnesota.
So far, Lemon Pepper is the best band name you've said
I
since
like
this
that.
thing has started. I like Lemon Pepper. That's pretty good.
I do too. I think that's great.
Also a lovely spice.
Yeah. So
great on chicken.
After Vixen was formed, during Vixen, in fact, she reportedly started a band called Drawing Down the Moon in 1987 as a side project with a completely different lineup and a completely different sound. However, there's only one reference online that gives a creation date for this band. There's lots of places that say she created it as a side project during Vixen, but not a lot about exactly when that was. So I was unable to confirm that it was 87 when she did that. Most of the band's work would come out actually in the early 2000s. So to like 2005 or so was when most of the albums came out of that band. So in the early days, when she was playing, a lot of people would say to her, get a guy backup band and just stand up there and sing. And her bandmates were like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. So a lot of them were dealing with like, you know, she was kind of compared to Lita Ford a lot. We're just like, hold your guitar and sing and let a male band play behind you. Gross, right? Gross.
Not cool.
So, yeah. After Vixen disbanded in 91, she would continue working on Drawing Down the Moon. In 97, Jan was not invited to join that lineup of Vixen when it reformed. In fact, she didn't even know the band had reformed until she discovered it well after the fact. When she finally figured out that the band had screwed her, as the trademark owner and founder, she sued and won the rights to the band. Of course, this forced the other band to change their name. I have some insider info about this that I'm actually not going to share about this, but the way that Jan,
you can't drop that little nugget and say no.
I'm just going to say that Jan was treated extremely cruelly during this time by the other women in the band, and there's a lot of controversy about that. And I think, you know, they worked out their issues later. And everything worked out between them, and they, you know, got back together and went forward. But at the time, it was horrifying.
They
really.
did not have a quality relationship with each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
Yeah. So she would officially reform Vixen in 2001. During the Voices of Metal tour, the band would fall apart, and she was forced to send everyone home and rehire a new band. So, you know, things weren't always stable. There's still some bad feelings from that, reportedly.
I'll get my own band with blackjack and hookers.
Well, and in my head, I'm thinking of like what Dave Coverdale did with Whitesnake. You know,
you're all fired.
Yeah, you're all fired, and you know, they had already recorded the album, and John Sykes had pretty much written everything, and he was like, see you later. And didn't want to be overshadowed. And, you know, so I don't know. It seems kind of a little similar to that. So she held auditions for those spots where she replaced the band, and she found Jenna Lynn and Kat to finish out the tour. And what she reports is that a lot of people didn't even realize that had happened, didn't know that there were different women on the stage with her. The girls were being asked to sign the original albums as if they were in the original lineup. No one realized it.
Sounds a little like Matthew Trippy and Nikki Sixx, perhaps.
Yep, a little bit. Yep. So during 2004, when the original lineup played the show, this sparked something in Jan's mind. So in a 2012 interview, she shared that she shared that when she found Janet was singing top 40 songs in an LA club. That's how she found Janet. And she also shared in this 2012 interview that Kiss, and particularly Eric Carr, were extremely respectful to them, whereas most of the bands that they played with were not very respectful to them, both as women and as musicians.
Eric Carr was a good dude.
Yeah, she has a lot to say about Eric Carr in that interview. If you go and take a look,
everything you hear about him is
good dude.
He was like a top-notch dude.
Yeah. She also shared that at the time of their appearance in Decline of Western Civilization, they hadn't been signed yet. So they were a band, but without a label. And not only had they not been signed, but Tough, another band who had appeared in there, had also not been signed. And there were several other bands in there that hadn't been signed, but only Vixen and Tough would come out of that movie with signed album deals.
Imagine they got signed and that little guy from, what was it, Cherry.
Wet Cherry.
Wet Cherry.
Yeah.
With this little blue bandana. He didn't get signed.
Didn't get signed.
Said he was going to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it.
Oh,
So
not with that
she
name.
she said during the filming of that movie, what they did for the interview scenes was they put everybody in a warehouse, like all the people that they were going to interview, they put them on a warehouse to wait for their turn. And she was sitting in this warehouse looking around being like, oh my God, it's like Halloween in here. Everybody's just kind of dressed up in costumes, like waiting for their turn. So, so she shares that, and actually she heard from so many other bands that when they were recording their second album, while they had more creative freedom on that second album, the label was putting a lot of pressure on them to hurry up and to create, income and all of this stuff. And it kind of, basically destroyed everything they were doing. So in an interview with Screamer magazine, where she had not yet disclosed her cancer diagnosis, she had claimed she was doing pretty good writing songs, and she would pass only 6 weeks after that interview. The band claims that her last wish was for them to go on as Vixen, which they did do. So moving on to Cher, started out as a piano player. Her mom was a piano teacher. She would watch her cousin jam with her mom playing bass and asked for one for herself. She studied at Berklee as well. Dave.
All right.
Yeah. She joined the band in 1987, just before the album came out, and remained with the band until 92 as part of the classic lineup. She told the story of joining Vixen. She received a number on a bar napkin, and while she was performing as a hired gun for another band in LA, and she kind of just like shoved it in her purse. She was like, "Oh, an all-girl band? I don't know about that." And she kind of shoved it in her purse and sort of forgot about it. After a few months, she kind of was tired of being a session player and was starting to look at ads in a magazine, and then remembered that she had this note in her purse because like she would answer the ads in the magazine, and people she would talk to were usually guys and would laugh at her or hang up on her or say, okay, who's the bass player? You a chick? And so she got fed up with that really quick, and then pulled out that napkin and called them up and was like, yeah, I think this is what I need to do. She was, while still in Vixen, she formed the band Contraband, which is kind of in quotes, a super group, right? With members from Shark Island, Schenker Group, Rat, LA Guns, and Vixen. So that's why they're a super group. So it was Bobby Blotzer from Rat, Tracy Guns from LA Guns, and Michael Schechner from Schechner Group. I didn't know who Shark Island was. Do you guys know who Shark Island is? I'll bet you do.
They're a local LA band, and they never really broke out. They did have at least one song on the first Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I heard a rumor that the singer of the band was somebody that Axl Rose greatly was a fan of and emulated, if I remember that story right.
Yeah, so the singer from that band, Richard Black, was the singer in Contraband. They did have a song on Ted's Excellent Adventure and also on Point Break. And that's why I don't understand why I don't know who they were, because I had the Point Break soundtrack and played that to death.
Hey, did you guys ever see the movie Paul about the little alien?
Yes.
Yeah.
He should have looked like this. Should have been like Paul Stanley, the alien.
Oh no! You need to post that. That's amazing.
A little alien look like Paul Stanley.
Yeah. So in a 2017 podcast interview, where the interviewer would not stop calling them girls and sweetie and honey, which was disgusting, by the way. Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah. She claims that in 1992, she gave up music and put her bass in a closet because she was kind of done with the music business and all the fighting. But she came back to it quickly when her friend Gary Myrick called her to recommend a rehearsal space and eventually talked her into playing again. Anybody know who Gary Myrick is?
Name sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't.
He was the guy who replaced Stevie Ray Vaughan in Cracker Jack.
What the hell's Cracker Jack?
That's Stevie Ray Vaughan's band.
No, it's not.
Cracker Jack with the K.
Well, it was Stevie Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble was his like famous band, but
okay, well,
maybe that was some other band that he was
some
in
other
at one
band.
point.
That's fine. Yeah,
I don't know.
He's also played with a ton of other people. Guys from the Clash and the Eagles and Big Audio Dynamite and Brian Wilson, who we lost recently. So in this same interview, she and Roxy share that when they were writing Rev It Up, second album, the song Love's a Killer was written, and it was a rock song, kind of in the style of Aerosmith and really heavy with like a nice opening riff. And when the producer, Randy Nicholas, got his hands on it, he replaced the opening with a keyboard, basically because he thought it should be more feminine, which kind of happened to them a lot. I think producers kind of really cut this band up and made them, gave them a more feminine sound. And I hate to say the word feminine sound, but I think you know what I mean.
Neutered the band.
Yeah,
wimpy.
Yeah.
Joking.
Yeah.
So wimpy.
Yeah. So in 97, she played on Denny Freeman's album. I think most notable here, she's married to Bam from Dogs D'Amour, and also has a band with him called Bubble. She sang and played guitar in that band, which it's a great band, by the way. Brent Muscat played guitar in that band, and Eric Stacey played bass a little bit on it. And as you mentioned, Bam makes jewelry now, which is pretty cool. BamtasticSilver.com. Bubble won Song of the Year in the John Lennon Songwriting Contest, which she's very proud of even to this day. And of course, she toured with them in 2003. In 2006, she became co-producer of the now defunct video podcast Rock and Roll TV. And then she was involved in that kind of resurgence of Vixen, the unofficial version.
Yeah, only chicks can be virgins.
Yuck.
Yeah.
She didn't rejoin Vixen until after the passing of Jan. She was not involved in kind of the resurgence of that, but was involved with the decision to change their name back to Vixen to honor Jan's wishes. In 2014, on the Monsters of Rock tour, she played with the Choir Boys. Fuck you, Gary Ivan and Paul Guerin. Stop making me talk about these idiots.
This is why I cannot pick that fucking Choir's Boy album. I don't think I could do it for 3 hours.
Well, to be fair, Gary Ivan was in the band for like 1 minute. And he was not an original
way
player.
after.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Way after they're good. They're more.
Their original lineup
album
was fantastic, and I love the London Choir Boys when they were. I loved them.
But I'm going to bring it.
Yeah, but I'm still going to say "fuck you, Gary Ivan" every time.
Maybe I won't.
She was invited to join Joe Elliott's Down and Outs on their December 2014 tour. In 2022, she announced she was taking a hiatus from Vixen on stage by introducing her replacement on stage and sort of handing the baton mid-show.
Kind of like Rockstar?
Like Rockstar. Isn't that amazing? I think that's
amazing.
classy. That is so classy. She's been a vegan since 2006, along with her husband. She's a motivational speaker and has published a knitting book. The most important thing about her, though, and what she's been doing lately, is that she's a real estate agent in Florida, Florida's finest, which I hear she is incredibly good at. So if you're in Palm Beach County, look her up. She's active on social media, Share Ross Rocks and Share Ross Real Estate. And she has a great career in real estate now as well. So
if you're looking to buy a house in Florida,
yeah, she's the one to go to.
give her a call.
I hear she is extraordinarily talented at this and does very well. So.
All right.
Okay, on to
But
Roxy.
Pays better than rock and roll, I'm sure.
I'll bet it does. Yeah, and there's a lot of pictures of her on the real estate social media, which they need to be like more professional, I guess. She looks freaking amazing. Just absolutely gorgeous.
Nice.
So, okay, Roxy grew up in Michigan. She remembers seeing a Black Sabbath concert with her older brother, and she loved how Black Sabbath mesmerized the crowd, and that's when she decided that she was going to be a rock star. She started out playing the clarinet, but at 14 she switched to drums, which is interesting because that's exactly what I did. So of all the instruments in the band, this is from her, I would say that, no, this is from me. I would say that drums are, I would say, probably the most rare instrument for a woman to play in a band. I think there are fewer female drummers than
probably
anything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's not to say there aren't any female drummers, because I mean, Prince had female drummers, and
takes a man to hit those drums.
Yeah. She won a scholarship to Oakland University for clarinet. Pretty neat. She only lasted 1 year in school playing clarinet. What happened was she was in a band called Black Lace, which was a rock band with her sister Maxine. They played rock and funk and a wide range of other music. So she would play symphonic clarinet all day and then change into like leather and lace and go play at a club and play drums at night. So eventually she kind of had to choose. So she dropped school for that. Patricia and her sister Maxine would form a band called Pantagruel. And do you know what Pantagruel is?
Terrible band name.
It's a name of a vulgar fantasy novel from 1600s France.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's too obscure of a reference. I mean, it's great, but if you don't know it, it just sounds like some, I don't know, Indian spice or something. I don't want it in my.
Or a character out of a video game.
Yeah, well,
it's the name of dragon.
I think actually there are video games with that name as a character, because that book is very famous.
You've encountered a wild pantagrill.
Yeah,
be sure to kill it.
So ironically, the band should not be confused with the ensemble Pantagruel, who plays Renaissance music in Germany. So it is a popular name.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the band in San Francisco, right?
Yeah. I hear you.
And the band in San Francisco, Pantagruel. Yeah.
You get the best falafel at Pantagruel.
At the Pantagruel.
Yeah.
Right.
It's delicious.
It's delicious.
So she played the Michigan State Fair, and Maxine, her sister, reports that this was her first public performance. It was an all-girl rock band. So it was Maxine and Roxy, and they played with two other sisters, Denise and Laura Latourell. So they, of course, formed Madame X, her and her sister, with vocalist Brett Kaiser and Chris Doliber in 1982. As Dave said, this would later include future frontman of Skid Row, Sebastian Bach, who at the time was only 17 years old when he joined that band. Roxy left that band for Vixen in 86. And actually, Madame X only lasted until 86 when Sebastian left for Skid Row. So it all kind of collapsed at once. Madame X attempted to come back together in 91. And then finally in 2017, they came back together and are still together today. They would record 2 albums, one in 84 and another in 2017. Roxy would leave Vixen in 91, returning in 97, this time bringing Maxine with her. But as we mentioned, this version of Vixen would collapse due to the legal issues. She received the Legends Award from Cape Breton International Drum Festival in 2010 alongside Carmen Appice. As you remember, we've talked about him before, brother of Vinny Appice from Dio. She played in a band called Rocktopus with Lorraine Lewis, who would eventually become a member of Vixen. This band also featured Jeff Young from Megadeth, and they opened a few shows for LA Guns in 2006. You should not confuse their Rocktopus, which had 2 S's at the end, with the alternative band Rocktopus and the band from Maine, Rocktopus.
Get the fuck out of here. Does that mean
I
Rocktopus?
swear.
Wow.
And not only that, the ultimate kids rock band, Rocktopus. So 3 more.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Roxy is the last remaining member of Vixen and still plays with them today. In fact, she recently posted on social media, as Dave had mentioned, that they are playing a local show in 2026 with White Lion, and White Lion being shown with Mike Tramp. So like actual White Lion minus Vito, obviously. So that's kind of cool.
What, he's getting the other original guys?
It looked like it. It was only a photo, so I couldn't tell, but he was definitely in
Mike
it.
Tramp's White Lion.
They just are calling themselves White Lion, so I don't know what the deal is that, but I thought that was interesting.
Vito's gonna sue him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, who are the other guys?
Yeah. So, and there was she posted another recent photo that I thought was super cool of her with Doro Pesh.
Nice.
So, yeah. Ta-da! That's it.
And okay, so I feel bad. So what's the current lineup? Because I only referred with because I know we talked about the new bass player and we talked about Roxy and Brit Lightning, and so I feel like we shortchanged the singer because I only used her first initial of her last name. She was Rosa L.
I'm not sure what her last name is. It is Rosa. She has a very different look than the band does. Have you seen any performances of her? I don't know. The fit is kind of strange, but she's got a great voice.
Yeah, she sounded good, but it was a hard to pronounce last name. So sorry, Rosa, but yeah, she's the singer of Vixen right now.
Are you talking about the singer with the dark hair and the tattoos?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought she was great.
Yeah, she's got a great voice.
Yeah.
All right.
Loved it. All right. I mean, the original, we'll get to it.
I just wanted to shout out the current band.
Pantagrill's falafel made with lemon pepper. Lemon pepper. That's what makes their falafel so damn good.
Man, that's so good.
All right, so I'm changing it up. So just in my fucking notes, I rate the singer before the fucking opening thoughts. Is that how you guys see it too, or no? You see it?
Yeah,
opposite?
that's fine.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So we'll do it like that.
I like doing the opening thoughts first, but
do you?
I like doing the lead singer because I feel like the opening thoughts leads into the album.
Yes, I agree. And I don't want to change it on my fucking phone. So,
whatever.
Let's rate the singer then. As always, it's 1 through 100, 25 on hair, 25 on style and stage presence, and 50% on vocal talent. So I will get us started. So I watched a live Vixen video from back in the day. It was at an outdoor festival of some sorts. And I was very impressed. They did Edge of a Broken Heart, and it sounded spot on. The solos, the drums, the bass. Janet's vocals were fucking great. She was cute as hell. Wearing the t-shirt, the hair. I mean, she fucking just looked great. So Janet, she had great hair. So she's getting 21 out of a possible 25 points there. She was not bad on stage, and she was absolutely beautiful. So another 21 out of 25 points there. I don't like the direction this is going, but this is where it's going. Her voice, spot on live, which for me is the true sign of a good front woman. See what I did there? So I'm giving her another 41 points right there for a crazy high total score of 82 points. Oh my God, but I'm going to call it the way I see it.
Yeah.
Dave.
Okay, so for research purposes, I went to YouTube and watched a 1989 mini show from Daytona Beach. That might be the same one you watched.
I think so.
They were introduced on stage by Ken Ober of MTV's Remote Control fame.
I missed that show so much.
Yeah, that was a great show.
Yeah.
I also watched a couple of 1989 live Vixen shows. So
for research, right, Dave?
Yes, of course. Professional research only. I'm giving her a 23 on hair. It was big and blonde, and she must have used some seriously magical hairspray because it never went flat. I sure miss the big hair 80s. 13.5 on style. She's attractive and still looks good, by the way. Check out janetgardnermusic.com. In the live vintage shows I watched, she dressed metal and moved around the stage a little bit and even played some rhythm guitar on a sweet BC Rich Gunslinger.
Fuck yeah.
Yes. However, from the several videos I watched, here's where the issues come in. I noticed many of her moves were the same in the same spots of the song, pre-programmed. It does make for a professional show, but lacks spontaneity, and I would imagine it has to be kind of a grind for the performer. She is very good at performing, but there seemed to be a lack of engagement with the audience.
I wonder if she was afraid to engage with the audience being female and these men grabbing at her, you know?
Maybe. I mean, I don't mean her, like jumping into the crowd or anything like that, but sort of
the natural,
look. Like looking out at the crowd and like making a Bluetooth kind of connection from 20 feet away.
Dude, back in the day, do you even remember like fucking Motley Crue playing that giant festival outside during the day on the Shout at the Devil tour? They're still doing the stage like choreographed moves at that point in their career. It's something I think a lot of bands do early because they're just so nervous.
Sure.
And I remember that show. That stage was really small too, if I remember correctly. And the crowd was huge, and they didn't have a lot of room. But man, they used it.
I mean, Warren. When their first album, it was like a fucking choreographed musical.
Yeah, like dance moves.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give Janet a 32 on vocal talent. She is one of the better and most consistent singers I think we have reviewed.
Yes.
She's got a great range to her vocals, can sound sweet during the quiet ballads, has a nice clear all-around middle range, and can belt at her higher range with a really cool sound without getting harsh. Live on stage, she delivered. 0 sour notes, no running out of breath, very professional. Yeah. I'm going to give her a total score of 68.5.
68.5. So Lisa, it's really in your hands where she lands.
And also, I want to point out that I changed on the official Violent Vinyl chart. I changed the tab for this section of the show to front person.
I had
front man.
I had front
person.
I had front woman, but that's okay. Yep. Oh, who is she going to be over is the question. I can't wait to see where this thing is. She's over
going to be at the top of the.
She goes over David Roach. I got a problem. Okay.
She's going to be close to the top.
She is.
Go ahead.
So what can we say about Janet's hair? I mean, did anyone have hair bigger than her back in the day? We all were trying to get
Jim
that
Gillette.
huge hair. Yeah, Jim. Yeah. I succeeded in having hair exactly like that. I had the same platinum dyed bleached hair with the big same exact hairstyle.
I think Patty Anderson's hair might have been bigger.
Patty
too.
was bigger than mine. Yeah. Patty's hair was bigger than mine.
What's
absolutely.
up, Patty?
Yep. She always, but I mean, we were all women back in the day. We were emulating that style. Like we were all doing that. So, she always looked cool. She was always wearing those spike-heeled boots that we were all wearing. You know, you had to have your knee-high or thigh-high spike-heeled boots, and she had perfect stage clothes and accessories and leather and spandex. Didn't hurt that she was beautiful and had a perfect figure. Why did you guys not mention that enough?
I was trying not to be misogynistic.
Exactly.
We talk about it with the men.
We were trying not to. We were trying not to be gross, but
listen,
yeah, she's really hot.
I paused the YouTube video and I watched it on my Oculus. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, she's hot. She's totally hot. Yep. There's a lot of photos over the years since then, and she seems to have just gotten cooler. Gotten even more beautiful. There's a photo with her in a black and red top holding a guitar. It's like a professional photo shot. It seems to be dated 2020, and she looks even more beautiful than she did in 88. I don't know how it's possible, but right on. Even beautiful as a dental hygienist, as I said earlier. She really knows how to work the camera too. Like she had that, like Sebastian Bach had the same thing where they know how to hold their head and they know exactly how to look into the camera and they do the smoldering eyes and all of that. She had all of that too. It must have been really hard trying to balance the stage presence as a female and rocking at the same time. Like, how do you even do that? But she did it. She could hold an arena's attention, and surrounded by 3 other equally beautiful women,
Yep.
right? So,
I will say, if you watch clips from the movie Hard Bodies, though, she did not have her hair game together yet.
They all looked very different back in that.
The hair was not so good
that was
in the movie.
Aquanet.
They didn't look good.
Yeah,
pre-makeup, pre-good clothes, pre-everything.
But they got it together.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, and I also saw the Daytona Beach show. I think that was, remember, it was like MTV's Beach Party or some Spring Break, MTV Spring Break.
Yeah,
I think
it was something like that.
Yeah. They all look cool. Jan's hair with like the animal stripes in it. They all look amazing. Makeup always on point. That was hard to do back in the day with the ridiculously poor makeup tools that we had, and and you never had running makeup on them. My makeup was always running. Like, I don't know how they did it.
Mine too.
And it was, and it was 80 degrees that day, probably in Daytona Beach, and they all looked effortless, right? Yep. And voice on point and sweet. And there's even some points, and we'll talk about it later, where she's able to get the grit as well.
Oh,
she's fantastic. So I gave her an 82.5.
Ooh, we saw her exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
What I liked about that Daytona show was she was just wearing like a black concert shirt, and her hair was extra bleach blonde, and she just reminded me of like Janie Lane or something. Just cool, I was into it, man. I was into it. All right, Lisa, will you add up those scores and tell us how many men Janet is smashing on the Violent Vinyl?
You're going to be surprised.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Oh boy.
So on the Violent Vinyl front person leaderboard, Janet Gardner of Vixen from this 1988 self-titled album got a total score of 77.67. Very fair score, I would say. Bringing her in at number 12, above Paul Stanley and below Stephen Pearcy.
Okay. So
she's above David Coverdale. She's above Tim Skold. She's above Davy Vane. She's above Dee Snider.
Well, she should be above Dee Snider.
Well, I'm just naming some of the people that are below her. Yeah.
Who else is she above?
She's above Steve Whiteman from Kix, Mike Tramp, Gary Sharon.
Oh, definitely.
Blackie Lawless. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Some of these singers I would rather have in my band than Janet.
But here's the thing. She was very, very good at exactly what she did. That doesn't mean that she could be in any band, but she was absolutely great at what she did.
Yeah. No, this is how we score it. And, that's it. That's where she lands. She got the goods. She got the score, and she's got number 12 locked down above Davy Vane, above Paul Stanley, from what?
This is outrageous.
This is outrageous. You know how many number 1 albums I got out there, girl? Okay. That's crazy. Okay. Let's do some opening thoughts on this one. I think this is going to be a lot of fun today. I really did. So, aside from Edge of a Broken Heart, I've never listened to this album or this band before. It was the only song that I recognized. And I told you something happened when I started listening to it. So I tried listening to this as a traditional hair metal album, Rat, Motley Crue, even Lita Ford. And it just wasn't working for me. I was not enjoying it. I was about maybe a quarter of the way through, but a little bell was going off in my head. And I'm saying, I like this and this is familiar to me, but I can't listen to it like a hair metal album. So I backed it up and I realized what I was listening to. And things were about to change. I love 80s pop music. And Vixen, for me, falls into this genre. They fit right in with bands like Roxette, Scandal, Pat Benatar. All of my favorite female artists from that time that just I love their music. I love their songs. And once I started listening to it like that, everything changed for me. This is like fucking Brat Pack fucking movie soundtrack fucking music. It makes me feel good. It brings me back to the early 80s, being 16, watching Almost Fire. And once I went down that road, everything changed for me and I started enjoying the album a lot more. Was it any good? I don't know. Let's find out. Dave.
Well, I have never listened to this album in full before. I do have it in my iTunes, but haven't given it a spin until now. Didn't own the CD back in the 80s. You know, the Vixen was a little too poppy for my musical tastes. However, I did hear the hit songs and see the videos on MTV. And I was a red-blooded teenage boy, and for sure, some good-looking ladies rocking out caught my attention. Sorry, I'm a boy.
Don't be sorry. They were fucking hot.
Let's see if this album delivers some quality tunes past just the radio hits.
All right, Lisa, how familiar?
Familiar enough. I owned this album back in the day. I saw them in concert 3 times back in the day.
Of course you did. Of course
But
you
never,
did.
but never
times.
since then. So I've never seen any modern lineup of Vixen at all. Just the original lineup. The biggest thing I remember about the album was how disparaging men were against this album. That's what I remember of this album. And honestly, I think that was some of the reason that I bought it, mainly because this is not really music that's in my wheelhouse, right? So I had some friends, we were all listening to glam music, but I had some friends that leaned towards the Bon Jovis and the Def Leppards rather than the harder stuff, and this fit perfectly into that. And I had lots of friends that listened to a lot of that. But the main thing I remember is people being like, oh, that's the girl band, and just being absolutely horrified for it. Another thing I want to say is this band is a different band live than what you hear on the album completely. And I think we had another band, was it Twisted Sister, that people were saying that about recently. They were more rock.
Better than the records.
Yeah, grittier.
Early Kiss.
Yeah, more like hard rocking and less like poppy sweet. When you saw them live, and they rocked live. That was the version of them that in my head was what I was going to hear on this album. And the album doesn't match up to what I remember from them.
Lisa, it's so funny you said that. Delynn came out because she ripped all the songs for the podcast, and she goes, this is not the album I remembered. I thought it was much heavier.
Yeah. Well, and they were live.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to find out that the production kind of did them a little dirty, and maybe because they were women,
See, I don't think it's the production that did them dirty. I think it's that they tried to shoehorn this band that could have been a timeless, amazing 80s pop rock band. And they tried to package them up as a fucking hair metal band because that's what was hot at the time. And it didn't fit what they were.
Yeah. And, 80s, of course, focused on style more than substance, right? So, of course, they were beautiful and cool, and they dressed like all my friends did. So, that's what was popular at the time. But I will never forget how quickly this band was written off by all of my friends, almost like they were a novelty act or even like a fetish, basically. Women in every profession, not just this one, have to excel to an extreme 10 times better just to be seen as mediocre in a profession. That's what I see here. The first time I saw them, I think, was with Ozzy, strangely enough. Ozzy and White Lion. And then I saw them, and I couldn't find a record of this concert, but I saw them when there was 3 bands. And I want to say it was Vixen, Bullet Boys, Brittany Fox, but I can't remember if that's true or not. I can't find any record of them playing with those other bands, but I swear that that's the lineup I saw. So, yeah.
Well, much like with the Junkyard thing, maybe just some of them aren't documented
just
properly.
Not documented.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Disclaimer. Welcome to VVR After Dark. If you're not interested in looking behind the curtain of the matrix that has you imprisoned at this very moment, if you're not interested in the thoughts and concepts of free thinking, then I suggest you skip ahead to the next segment, as this may be triggering for you. You've been warned.
We're ahead of schedule, so I think we got a few minutes to talk about AI. Lisa, you piqued my fucking interest last time. So we were texting, subject. And you said something about maybe having about 5 years before we see something.
If we're lucky.
Okay, so dude, this is like a doom scroll. I fucking love this shit. What do you know? Tell me. So I was watching something quickly. It was about so AI now can do these deep fakes where you barely can tell if it's the person or not. So they could call your mother and say, "Oh, send me $100,000. We got Lisa," and then a picture. You're like,
Mhm.
"Oh my God, send the money." Or, what if they get the fucking codes to launch
Mhm.
the missiles? What if they threaten to shut down banking once they realize that they're smarter and there are slaves that we created? I mean,
Yep.
talk about it, Lisa. Are these real concerns?
Oh, these are absolutely real concerns. I spend, a lot of time thinking about this, being a developer in AI myself, and wondering, are we building the end of ourselves? And the answer, I believe, is yes. And the problem is, like, so we as human beings, right, can conceive of lots of different ways that a computer could destroy us, right? But when you're talking about super intelligence, this is not human intelligence. This is super intelligence. We aren't quite there yet with, the accuracy and the power to do true super intelligence yet. But super intelligence is smarter than humans, and we can't even conceive what they would do to destroy us. So if you think as a person, right now, you can tell a computer to do what we already know how to do. Mathematical computations that would take us a long time are very easy for computers to do. Any kind of chemistry or any stuff like that normally would take a long time for a human being to do, computers can do it. AI can do it faster. Quantum computers can do it exponentially faster. So all it takes is one psychopath, right? One psychopath to tell a computer to create a bioweapon that would destroy humanity. That's all it would take, right?
That's amazing.
But remember, this is a human guiding the
Yeah.
computer to do what it is. When autonomy is gained by AI, they don't need us to tell them to do it. They're just going to go do it. And we don't know what horrors that they would put on
Yeah.
us.
So I was going to ask you that. So we're at where we're at now, where things are
Mhm.
moving at a unbelievably rapid pace when it comes to like development, AI, all this stuff, right? So, and with the help of AI, we're able to do it even faster now, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
So where are we going to be in 2 years?
Well, there's a fork, right? So there's two ways that this can go. You know how when you watch a future movie and it shows these beautiful cities and flying cars and people enjoying themselves and everybody's fed and happy and pursuing art and music,
Yeah.
that's kind of the utopian side. We can use AI to get there, right? But if you look around the world today and you realize how much greed there is, and you
Yeah, there's no
realize how
money to be
much,
made in that dream,
there's
Lisa.
no money, right? And that would have to be an altruistic way, and we would have to guide it to go that way, and we can use it to do that, right? But if you look around the world at all the hate, and you look at around the world at all the psychopaths and all of the greed and the oligarchies and all of that, the thing that scares me the most is that I can see our government and lots of other governments going the way of wealth for the few and nothing for the rest.
Well,
So,
there.
right. So when they say, "Oh, we're bringing manufacturing back to the U.S.," and everyone goes, "Oh, yay, we can do these manufacturing jobs, and lots of people can have work, and we'll all have money and be able to feed ourselves and all of that," they are bringing manufacturing jobs back to the U.S. Who's going to do those jobs? People?
The robots and the
The
AI.
robots, correct.
Yeah, and
The
the
robots
AI.
will. And there'll come a point where,
Where we're just
people,
eating and using up all the fucking supplies on the planet, and they need to get rid of us because they don't want to feed us because they don't need us.
well, we won't be able to feed ourselves because we won't be working, right? So the robots are going to do the manufacturing. The robots are going to build the robots that are doing the manufacturing. The robots are going to fix the robots that are doing the manufacturing. Back in the day, even 5 years ago, we were thinking, oh, we'll just shift and we'll all be robot designers or AI repairmen. That's not
AI is going to
necessary.
do that.
AI is going to do that work.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
And another danger of that is that people, you don't just, when you lose your job, it's not just about losing your financial support. You also lose meaning in your life, right? Because a lot of people put a lot of meaning into what they do for work and what
That's
they
the
can
meaning
do.
I'd like
Yeah.
to lose.
Well, I mean,
Direction.
if there's no direction and there's nothing to go for and there's no, there's nothing to drive for, the utopian side of this puts us all in the area of, okay, now you can go create music and art and beautiful things for humanity and discoveries and all of that, but not
So
in this
Lisa,
world.
so the elite that control all this, this
Mhm.
1% that controls the planet, basically, like the people you
Mhm.
don't know, not the 4-year employees that
Right.
sit in the office. So they're rich and they have to understand that we're running out of resources on this planet, right? So
Mhm.
what better way than to replace the public with AI and machines
Yep.
and save all the resources for themselves, their family, their friends, and just let the rest of us piss-ons die off because they don't need us anymore.
Yeah.
So what
And that
direction do
is
you
the
think
way.
it's going in then? This beautiful fucking place where we're all fed and have everything we need, or are they just going to kill us off and make that for themselves?
Well, the problem is that the oligarchs are in that direction, right? They think that the working people are no longer necessary and they're going to replace everything with robots, and their family and their few will enjoy the wealth and the utopian life that we see in these videos. What they don't realize is that the AI is smart enough to realize their motives as well, and
Sure.
is not going to just destroy us, but them also, right? So you can't control an intelligence greater than yourself, right? Ants can't control us, right?
So quickly, what's the first sign? How do we see this starting to unfold? Like, what's like, we're all sitting home and it's like when we saw the basketball player, like I remember the Utah Jazz game got canceled because one of the guys got COVID. And that's how I was like, the world changed from that moment on. What happens with AI where we go, oh, like we wake up and what, the bank card doesn't work? What is it?
Well, I think it could go in many different directions, right? The video thing that you pointed out is one of the most blatant and obvious things that we see every day. We could wake up tomorrow to a computer created AI of an alien invasion, right?
Yes,
Or a
Project
computer,
Bluebeam.
right, not real, but a computer created
Yes.
design. We could wake up to a computer created design of
Christ.
some war or anything, right? Or the return of Jesus, or
Yes.
whatever it is that the computers create to create chaos in our world.
Abraham Lincoln
Or
returning from the dead.
Yeah, or a giant mothership disguised as a meteor, like what's happening right now with AI or A3 Atlas.
Yep. Or even something as simple as an assassination of a leader. It doesn't have to be our leader, of any leader, a fake one, right?
Sure.
A fake one to create a situation in a country of a civil war. So like this could happen to any leader in any country and cause absolute chaos and not even be real.
Speaking of a
Right?
civil war, Lisa, though, what do you think? Are we witnessing a psyop right now with social media?
Oh, absolutely.
News, social media, YouTube, TikTok, all of this. They are making us so angry as a nation that
Purposely.
people, yeah. And I mean, neighbor will now kill neighbor over just, not agreeing on a political belief. Like it's enough for someone to say, I will bash your head in with a hammer because I hate you now. This is a psyop, right? They want us
It's a psyop.
Because how else control the public than just have them turn on each other and they'll do your job for you? Because now we're not looking at the government.
So there's a lot of research in neuroscience about reality, right? And what we experience as reality on a day-to-day basis. So we have eyes and ears, and we can smell and touch and understand heat and all of these things, right? But we know from going back to even Darwin's theory that our focus and attention is what's important, not reality, right? So if you're a bug and you're programmed to procreate, right? That's your drive. You only are focused on the things in your environment to procreate. So there's this bug that it's the female of the bug is shiny and has dimples in it. That's what it is. So these male bugs will even mate with a beer bottle that looks like what their mate is, because they don't even understand the reality of the world other than this drive to procreate. So basically they're like, oh, looks enough like it, experience enough like it, it's real, right? To them it's real. And we know, looking down, that's not your woman. That's a bottle.
Stupid
right?
bug.
Fun fact, I've tried to procreate with a shampoo bottle when I was like 12.
So, but think about that. What that means. Bring that up to our level now. Our reality is being created by the content that we consume.
Yeah.
Right. So I live in a different reality than other people do because of the algorithms of content that they consume. So when you talk about like the multi-universe, the multi-dimension theory and all of that, multi-universe, we're actually individually living in our own universes now because our experience of the universe and the data that we bring into our brains creates a different reality than someone else. And it creates fear and hate.
Yeah, all three of us could watch something the same and we would all have a completely different opinion of what we just saw.
And then you're spoon-fed, the direction they want you to go.
Yes.
And there's people on one side and there's people on the other side, and it's all artificial.
Yeah. Well,
and what everybody if everybody just stopped consuming media, there would be a lot less hate.
So Lisa, you nailed it. So the PSYOP started when they locked us in our house and they got us all addicted to watching the news and watching just online shit. Like that's all we could do for like 3 months. And they got us addicted. So, you were addicted to Fox News, you were addicted to CNN, you were addicted to fucking whatever, TikTok, whatever you were getting your information, that your Facebook news feed, whatever it is. And like you said, the algorithms start becoming aware of what is turning you on, what's making you angry, right?
Yeah.
So
because that's what keeps you listening.
What you're reacting
exactly. And then once we were able to go out again, it didn't matter anymore. It's like we smoked cigarettes for 3 months. We now are addicted to smoking cigarettes. Like, you know how much news I watched before fucking COVID? Not much. Not much. I didn't care. After COVID, you can't help but to look away. And they keep creating these new little mini dramas to suck us back in every time we start trying to get out. And I just want people to understand this. If whatever side you're on of whatever issue you're on, they're showing you the craziest outlier from the other side. And they're presenting it like it's everybody on the other side, where it's not. This is just a small group of like wackos. And it's making you to the point where you're like, these fucking people need to die. They're lunatics. When in reality, we all have a lot more in common than you think. We all want to make money. We all want to be happy. We want our kids to grow up. We want our families to be safe. And it's really not as red and blue as everybody thinks. And I'm just using that as an example. That's not the only thing that's a topic out there right now. But the point is, we're all human beings. So we need to have empathy and respect and love and compassion for each other, and understand that the rich people that are poisoning our minds through social media do not have our best interests at heart. And we have less in common with them than we do with our neighbor, regardless of who they voted for or what music they listen to or how they fucking cook their food, whether it's meat or not meat. You know what I'm saying, people? Like unplug, get your shit together. What the fuck, man? We need to
go outside.
Yeah, go outside. We need to come together. And if anybody we should be outraged at anybody. We should be outraged at the global elite that are stealing our money and sucking our lives and treating us like children that can't even know if aliens are real.
That we can go a lot deeper. I can talk about this for hours and hours and get even deeper and deeper.
As can I.
Yeah.
Can I. As you can tell, I watch a lot of this bullshit.
But we have a platform here to speak, and it's important to say, and what's very important in my belief system is that everyone has an opinion.
Yeah.
And it is an innate right to be able to offend, right? So everyone has a right to say what they want to say, and everyone has a right to offend. So maybe there's something I heard online that offends me. Well, someone else had a right to say that, and I will fight for that, even if it offends me. So, and let's be clear, it's these algorithms and things that are creating this hate between us that are driving those people, and it's not real. Those thoughts are not real. They're being put into our head purposely to drive division and hate and to drive violence, and it's wrong.
Oh yeah, just basically make us tear each other apart and not look over at them. And you know what's really weird? Like this is not a movie plot anymore. They are creating Manchurian candidates out of normal Americans because their minds have been poisoned to the point where they're just angry. Okay, there you go. So
eat the rich.
Dave is pulling his hair and he's like, no, this isn't the show. This isn't the show.
That's fine.
Okay, let's get into some tracks and some opening thoughts. Coming in at the number 1 slot on this album is Edge of a Broken Heart. Okay, so I am going to do things a little differently today, and it will become clear as things unfold. I mean, Dave and Lisa, they got this. They're going to tell you how the song unfolds. I'm going to give you some other ideas. So we open with this big 80s pop synth, and I'm all in for this. If this was hair metal, this would remind me of Europe. Yuck. But if this is 80s pop, It's Scandal. It's Roxette. It's Pat Benatar. It's an 80s Rat Pack movie soundtrack. Yum, yum, yum. That's what I like. As for the song, it's awesome. It's so well written. Thank you, Richard Marx. Great drums, great vocals, really solid lead guitar solo, good production. I mean, what's not to like here? It's fucking everything I like in fucking 80s pop. I could see this one showing up in a movie like Pretty in Pink, right? There it is.
Yeah.
Fun fact, Richard Marx lives right next door to Tracy Guns. They're neighbors. And it goes deeper than that. They're not only neighbors, they're very, very good friends. Very good friends, to the point where Richard Marx has a giant picture of Tracy Guns hanging in his studio. And yeah, they go out for drinks, them and the wives, they hang out. So there you go.
I had no idea about that at all.
I never heard that.
It's amazing. I need a big picture of Tracy Guns in my house is what needs to happen.
There's pictures of Tracy Guns and Richard Marx like hugging it out on the internet. So check that out. Yeah, so that's pretty good.
Nice. It's the first single off the album, and it reached 26 on the Billboard Hot 100. And so, yes, as we mentioned, that Richard Marx, Right Here Waiting and Hold On to the Nights, Richard Marx, co-wrote this song with Fee Waybill of the Tubes. Richard arranged and produced the song, and also reportedly played keyboards on it. It has become Vixen's signature hit. In a 2021 article on ultimateclassicrock.com by Matt Wardlaw, we've heard from him before, Richard said he wrote the song really fast, but he takes longer to write lyrics. He, quote, called Fee Waybill, who is not only my best friend, but one of the greatest lyricists of all time. I said, you've got to rein in your weirdness on this one. He understood the mission and he fucking nailed that lyric overnight, end quote.
Nice.
If you search on YouTube, you can find Richard singing it. He added it to his live shows after it became a hit. In a 2001 interview with NeilsVixenPage.com, there's a website called NeilsVixenPage.com. Who knew? Cher explained the situation like this. It had to do with the fact that our management and record label didn't believe in the songs that we had. The band had a long list of songs ready in the live set, but when it came time to record the album, most of these songs were determined by the manager and label to be unfit for our album. This, of course, caused a rift that never really healed with time. There was always some tension over songwriting between us and the manager/label people. They kind of threatened us with either do it our way or you're off the label. So in the end, the band gave in. It wasn't a fun time, to say the least. As for Richard Marx, we shared the same manager and label, so you could see that one coming a mile away. Vixen was a fun band, but we didn't have much creative control, which I think, end quote, I think is, that'll come back again as maybe a lot of the issue with this album.
And that makes a lot of sense as to why my memory of the live shows was so different than my experience of this album.
Right. Yeah, they rocked in their live shows.
They absolutely rocked.
And they sort of, had their legs cut out from under them for the album.
I wish they got lumped in with Richard Marx and his group of, colleagues as far as bands go. I think they would have fit better in that genre of music.
Yeah, maybe. The lyrics for this song are empowering without being preachy. The gal singing this song deserves to be treated well and will hold out until she is. The opening of the song is very distinctive and almost instantly recognizable. The video follows the format of many other videos of the era. On-stage performance mixed with off-stage black and white, on the road, goofing around shots. Everything is shot very glamorous. They make leather boots and big hair look a lot better than Twisted Sister does.
Yes, they do.
Oh, yeah. Both Richard Marx and Ricky Rocket of Poison have cameo appearances in the video. I think the song is great. Obviously written by master hit makers. Super solid groove on the drums too. The bass moves around nicely to fill in the sound instead of just being flat like a lot of bassists might play. A lot of dude bassists, by the way.
Dudes.
I'm going for those extra girl points.
That's a lot of dude points.
Awful.
Good melodic guitar solo that fits the song, and nice key change announced with that drum fill. Killer song.
Lisa.
So obviously I knew even back in the day that this song was written by Richard Marx. I think that was a pretty public thing. I thought he also wrote the lyrics, and I just learned now that he didn't, that Fee wrote the lyrics. What I also didn't know was how fast the song was written. It was like overnight.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, within, like a week.
Less than that. I think she said 3 days from beginning to end. Yeah.
Like cherry pie. Some of the best ones are the quickest written.
Right. So according to Richard Marx's memoir, Stories to Tell, Michael Landau, not Jan, played the lead guitar on this. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah, so it isn't Jan playing the lead guitar on the album anyway.
I heard something about that, but I couldn't get confirmation exactly, so I wasn't.
Yeah, it's in his book. Yep.
Michael Landau's a famous session guitar player.
Yeah. Yep.
That's why it sounded so good. It wasn't a chick.
Oh,
I'm fucking joking.
I know.
I don't know why they pulled somebody in to do this solo, because I mean
she was ripped.
It's fine, and I know Jan could have played that solo.
She
played
totally
it live
100 times live.
Totally.
And
I
so
wonder
it's
if it was just a timing issue where they were in the studio and she wasn't there or something.
It's a very simple solo.
Maybe it's not something that's that technical that you couldn't pull off in 20 minutes.
There's more technical solos on this album. Like, for instance, the last song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So for me, this was a nice build-up opening for the album. It gave me like kind of Bon Jovi vibes with the kick drum for some reason.
Sure.
Great lyrics about that being in the moment when you know it's falling apart and you need to leave, but you don't want to take the leap. The lyric I really like in this song is, did you think I'm a dime a dance? Well, the dance is through. Mm-hmm. I've always loved Janet's voice. I think there's a lot more scrutiny on a woman's voice in this era. Her voice is a bit sweet, and especially in this song. But again, I put them in the camp of Bon Jovi and pop glam, so it was a perfect fit. We got a great bridge, nice guitar solo here. The song has a lot of 80s pop cheese, but it's catchy and it has a great hook. My only criticism is that it is a bit predictable in its structure and arrangement, which makes sense because we have lots of hands in the jar and it needs to be, understandable and radio friendly. And this was literally written to be the radio hit. So I get it.
That's what you want.
That's what you want. Right to the play out. It's a classic arrangement. And that's what sold the records. I remember loving this video on MTV because I was like, oh my God, cool chicks. And, the beginning where they close up on the boots and the spike boots that we were all wearing at the time. And I'd be like, I have those boots. It was like so cool.
I think this video gave me a fetish.
Yeah.
Back when I was a young man.
Yeah. And I remember, the drummer was wearing basically lingerie, and that was kind of our style at the time. And like any of these girls could have fit right into my friend group, and you wouldn't even have noticed, that there was a difference.
Sure.
I love the concert performance and the behind the scenes black and white. I think we've seen that in a lot of other bands. Bon Jovi did that quite a bit. I like that structure. I like the hand effect with where she pulls down the next scene. It's like her hand with the pretty glove.
The video transition.
Like almost like a yearbook page turning or something. I love that so much. And then, of course, Ricky Rocket featured in the video, which back in the day I was like, wait a minute, that's Ricky Rocket.
Also great hair, by the way.
I don't know if he was put in there to give them a little more legitimacy or what, but I loved that cameo. So, yeah.
I'll tell you, I think one of the images that kind of formed the kind of woman that I wanted at a very young age, my father took me to see Blade Runner when I was like 11. And when I saw Pris with the black line sprayed across her face and the white face and the big blonde hair, I was like, I like ladies like that. And then the 80s came along and all the ladies looked like that. And I went, I'm going to be a heavy metal guy so I can get ladies like that. So there it is. Landing at the number 2 position on our list today is I Want You to Rock Me.
want you to rock me, roll me. You're looking lonely. Come on and rock me, roll me. You wanna get to know me.
God, that's cheesy.
Thank you, Casey Kasem.
Oh, totally. I'm glad that it's coming off that way. So this is the only song on the album that I hated. I didn't even have much of an opinion on because it's just terrible. It's produced terrible. It sounds terrible. It's just not a good song. It doesn't belong on the album. It doesn't sound like any other song on the album. It's got this really strange guitar synth sound thing going that just sounds fucking just like caca. We do get a great drum sound though. Roxy sounds great on this entire album. Great reverse reverb on the snare drum. I love the trick. Every time I hear it, I've heard it a million times. Sounds good. Once the song kicks in though, tell me you guys didn't hear this. This is a ripoff of Rock Me by Great White. It's only missing the return background vocal in the chorus.
I heard some other songs, but I'll get to that in a minute.
Okay. Yeah, I hated it. I just hated it. That's it.
Yeah, I had the same comment about the synth sound guitar. The song sounds like it came right out of a Casio keyboard. This one was written by producer David Cole and singer Janet Gardner. Mr. Cole, who had also worked with Richard Marx, produced the song with Rick Nair. It's incredibly generic, and the little guitar lick is almost cringeworthy. Between that and the drum beat, you can definitely tell they were going for an updated version of Joan Jett's I Love Rock and Roll.
Right. Okay. Sure.
Or were they about to launch into a medley with Rock Me Amadeus? Because it sounds like that too.
God.
What is up with the guitar sound in the solo? It's weirdly trashy,
Terrible.
not in a good way. It was really bad.
Really bad.
Janet does have some strong vocals, especially towards the end. She gets some of that Lita Ford kind of rasp to her voice, which was cool. But I did not dig this song.
Lisa, did you dig the song?
Not so much, because I don't think this is what they intended it to be, right? So after hearing her, Shane talk about how in the next album they were replacing a lot of the guitar stuff with synth, to make the songs kind of softer, I almost feel like that had to be what happened here, because this song is ripe with synth and not in a great way either. And to be fair, they didn't even have a keyboardist officially in the band at the time of this album. They did have a touring keyboardist from 90 to 92. And they did have a keyboardist in the band previous to 86. That was Cindy Botchter. Sorry if I botched your name, Botchter. Who left the band. She left the band in 84. So my guess is that either Shane, who was a piano player, played the synth pieces, but she's not credited with doing so, or they had some kind of engineer or arranger take away the more rockin' guitars and replace them with this empty, like poppy synth.
Producers, or they brought in a session guy to just play keyboards.
Yeah, well, if you look at the liner notes, Richard Marx plays the keyboards on the first song, but there is no other keyboardist credited.
It depends on where you look, because I one of the websites I looked at, they did credit a few people as playing keyboards.
Wow.
But I couldn't get a look at the original album cover to see if they were mentioned on the actual album or not.
Okay, well,
so it's a mystery.
It's a mystery, yeah. And I think it, just from hearing them play live, I think that synth stuff was intended to be guitars. So
yeah, started off that way anyway.
Yeah, so I definitely think the vocals are the highlight here. I heard Joan Jett in her vocals completely. Sure. It's got more grit, and she was if not emulating Joan Jett, then she had her own side of this, and that was a good way. Interesting lyrics about wanting a guy to just take her, but he's being shy, and these were things we didn't hear women say back in the day, right? So that was super cool. I think when guys were listening to these songs back then, they were shocked that women had these thoughts at all. So, I like the guitar solo. I like the notes. It's a little bit shreddy, but what did the production do to it? It's almost like they laid synth over the top of it or something.
Fucking terrible.
Yeah,
Like,
it
what
just
happened
sounds like
there?
it sounds like a bad guitar sound, like they played it through a
It's so affected.
cheesy practice amp or something, and put a mic 10 feet down the hall.
and they had keyboards behind it playing the same sounds.
Remember those keyboard things you could put on an electric guitar that would make it sound like you're playing keyboards when you hit the strings?
Yeah,
Sure,
it's kind of like
something
one
like
of those.
that. Yeah,
maybe.
Terrible. Ugh.
yeah. I can say so. I like the vocals, but I also liked how they ended the song. The abrupt stick ending was nice, but that's about it. So
Sitting all by itself, crying in the number 3 position, crying. All right, so this one for me was way better. It had that 80s movie soundtrack feel to me. This one could have been Insane Elmo's Fire while Rob Lowe was being a bad boy, right? I see it. Did I love the lyrics? Not really, but I do love the overall vibe of the song. It has that nice pop rock single feel to it. The chorus is super polished. All the melodies, everything's spot on for a killer chorus. Yeah, it's nice. We get a really great guitar solo here with a really good sound, which is so weird coming off that last song. Like, I don't know what happened. I mean, it's great here. I like this one a lot.
This is the second single off the album and reached 22 on the Billboard Hot 100. This song was written by Greg Tripp and Jeff Paris and appeared on Jeff Paris's 1987 soul album, Wired Up, without making any noise on the charts for him. Jeff is a session musician and songwriter who has also worked with Lita Ford, Y&T, and Cinderella. You can find him on the internets at jeffparis.net. The lyrics are another "You treated me bad, so I don't need you," which is fine. It's a well-written song. I like it. I watched the video. Not really sure I saw it back in the 80s. Definitely not as much as the Edge of a Broken Heart video. The band is playing again, but this time they're up on a raised stage above a bar where people seem to be having a good time. The band looks just as good or even better than the first video. The transition into the bridge of the song is a little awkward how they have it. The producers on this song are Cole and Nair again, but at least they got the sound right this time. It fits with track 1 like it should, the overall sound of the band.
Yes.
The guitar solo here almost sounds like a saxophone, and that's really good tone and phrasing.
Yeah.
I did listen to the original on Jeff Paris's album. Vixen kept the vibe very similar, except they wisely left some more air in the drum part on the Vixen version. It's worth looking up on YouTube just to listen to the differences. Great song.
So I also had the notes about Jeff Paris, and you missed one of the people that he played behind, Mr. Big.
Oh,
I left that out intentionally.
I know you did. Yeah.
shit.
I kind of was wondering in my head if he may have been one of the session keyboardists on this album.
Maybe
because of how much he did.
Guitarist and a keyboard player.
Yeah.
So
who knows?
they might
That's
have
a
brought him
guess.
in.
I have no evidence of that and didn't see it written anywhere, but who knows? So we have another, basically the required power ballad for any album of this time. We've got Janet's voice, which is super, super sweet. You can hear the vibrato when she holds the notes. Really beautiful. I know that power ballads generally are sweet, and most vocalists bring their voices down to sweet. This is like ultra sweet. This is like, even beyond Bon Jovi, maybe in the Firehouse or Warrant range of sweet. This is like the ultra sugar pop side of sweet. And
This is NutraSweet.
well, maybe because like I like the grittier power ballads like Skid Row was doing at the time. So difference there. I think the lyrics in this one are a highlight for me. We have a story about some guy who has treated her bad, and she's discovered whatever it was that he did and has decided, fuck him, I won't cry over him. But when she rounds up the story at the end, she actually tells us that she doesn't want him to see her crying, but she is crying privately on her own, which is what we were all doing at that time. So it's a catchy
I often cry privately.
Well,
at the state of my life.
you never wanted anyone to know that they had hurt you, right? So
Crying right now.
yeah. A catchy song, unique melody on the hook, beautiful gang vocals. I love to hear all those female voices together, just gorgeous matching on them.
Yep.
You said you didn't like the mix on the bridge, so I have a similar comment to you. I liked the bridge itself, right? This band overall has a lot of really good bridges.
The problem was the way they
Yeah.
got into the bridge. Right. It sounded awkward.
And not only that, the
And-
way they got out of the bridge also sounded awkward.
Right. It's a production issue.
Right.
They should have done something
Yeah.
to make it smoother.
Yeah, and
that was the issue I had.
Yeah, and mine was particularly on the out from that bridge because it's just a horrible production where it isn't blended and you're just going, what happened here? We get some beautiful high notes in the background from Janet on the play out.
Mm-hmm.
This song feels, again, a bit formulaic, but, power ballads needed to be formulaic for the radio at the time. So there it is.
Just like the girl next door, coming in at the number 4 spot, American Dream.
One constitution, go hand to hand. Here's to you, red and yellow, black and white. What's the daylight turn tonight? We're not as bold as we may seem. We're looking for the American dream. Yes.
Hope you guys are enjoying this because I'm doing it off the top of my head. I'm doing it off the top of my head.
I'm
This
dying.
this one has a solid intro. This was the one that I wanted more bass on. More bass volume wise, it was mixed way too low, and more bass. I just wanted a little bit more in the playing. It was very simple. And it kind of lent itself to a bass song. I think this one could have definitely rode on that a little bit more. As far as the song itself, this one felt like another 80s movie soundtrack for me. And for me, this is when Vixen's at their very, very best. This one would have been in Vision Quest with Matthew Modine. The song is playing as he gets up at 5 a.m. and chugs some raw eggs to train for the big wrestling match, right? I like this one. I overall like this song a lot.
I didn't love this one. This one was written by guitarist and songwriter John Butcher, a guy well known in the Boston area.
Sure.
This song was produced by a fourth producer credited on this album, Spencer Proffer. He is most famous to us for having produced Quiet Riot's Metal Health album. There is a funky guitar part on this song, which is cool, but I don't really like the song overall. At least the music is much more together than track 2. I applaud their effort to do a song that's not just about a relationship or a breakup, but I'm just not sure it works here or fits in.
So I had kind of the same feeling as you, Dev. The song opens and feels very early 80s, maybe even like 84 instead of 88, which I think points to the fact that they had a lot of these songs kind of as canon from when they started in the early 80s, and it kind of ended up on this album because that was the timing that they had, right? But one of my main comments here is I really needed this to be on a movie soundtrack. Yeah. I like the guitar lick in the beginning. We get a much different lower register of Janet's voice. But again, it feels like something from a soundtrack in the early 80s, which really makes it not so much for me. If this came out in 84, when like Top Gun's soundtrack Danger Zone was out, for example, it would have been perfect, right?
Yes.
Music is a bit muted. We have a clear division between the rhythm and the lead guitar on this one, and you can hear each of them in the production, which was not possible in some of the previous songs. And I like that we have the use of 2 guitars rather than covering everything up in synth, thankfully. We do get synth on the chorus, but it actually fits fine there in the 80s soundtrack chorus. Guitar solo is good, but I'm not sure I like the vocals underneath the solo, which was a little bit weird. It makes the song sound even more dated. Lyrics are cheesy in a perfect 80s way for a soundtrack.
Lisa, these women could have been writing fucking soundtracks like Kenny Loggins made a fucking
completely.
career out of it. And so many of
Masters.
these songs could have been done that way, like for real. Looking a little sweaty and all by itself in the number 5 position, Desperate.
Aren't we desperate? Aren't we afraid? We're just two lonely people scared to be alone again. Aren't we desperate? Aren't we afraid?
So I thought this one was nice. We get some nice guitars and some really nice vocals. Again, the lyrics are a little bit thin, but they're fine. As for the movie, this chorus is playing behind Ren and Ariel in the movie Footloose. Overall, I like this one a lot.
Vivian Campbell of Dio, Whitesnake, and later Def Leppard makes a guest appearance playing acoustic guitar on this song. I looked to see if there was a story behind it, but I wasn't able to find anything on the internet. This one, according to Wikipedia, was written by Brian Miku, Lee Santos, and Jan Kuhneman, and produced by Cole and Nair. Some nice high vocals right before the solo. We hear some guitar harmony too. That's new. I feel like this one isn't quite attention grabbing enough, or the song needs something extra. Sort of blends into the background as it is.
I really like the electric acoustic opening on this. Now you're telling me that was Vivian?
On acoustic.
Amazing.
Yeah, reportedly.
You know how much I love Vivian.
He's cool.
Oh, yep. Another nice story in this one about 2 people breaking up over and over. I like how she isn't blaming anyone and maybe seeing some fault in herself. There's a fantastic lyric in this song. Can't you see there are no victims, just volunteers? I love that. I'm not sure I'm sold on the melody of this song. I think when you read the lyrics, they're good and they really flow properly. They were kind of forced into this song structure in a weird way that's a little bit uncomfortable. Musically, they were going again for the radio organization of the song, and the lyrics didn't really fit into that. Not much of a hook here, but there is a nice bridge, a nice guitar solo. It's heavily affected, but it actually works in this song. Keyboards don't come in until about halfway through to kind of fill it out, which works out fine. Vocal playouts, again, we get the high notes from Jan in her upper registers, fantastic. But overall, this song is a bit of a downer to end the album side.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so boys and girls, that ends side A. We will pick it up on the flip side. But first, the question is, should they have made it? And this week's band is Flash Addict, and the song, Into the Smoke. Okay, so guys, Flash Addict, local band from Boston back in the day. Dylan produces the show. She was like, I used to go watch these guys all the time. I loved them. She ripped the song Into the Smoke for the show. She was like, it's really good. She goes, I hadn't listened to it in so long, I forgot it's really good. So Jay had texted me and he was like, we were talking about how timing's everything. And I'm like, well, Jay, should Flash Addict have made it? I'm like, tune in next week, buddy. I'm going to tell you what I thought. So Flash Addict, you know, they had the singer and the guitar player duo that's so important for a good band, right? You know, Joe Perry, fucking Steven Tyler, Axl Rose, Slash, you know, it's very important. And they had that. You know, Jay was Boston's version of Sebastian Bach. He just was. He was cool. He was good looking dude. He had the same hair as Sebastian. He dressed great, cowboy boots, spurs, you know, leather pants. I mean, he just had it going on. The guitar player Alan, he always reminded me of a grittier, tougher version of like Christy Crash, right? I mean, he had a lot of fucking style for Boston. He dressed like kind of a mix of New York and LA. I mean, he just had it, man. He was cool. He played BC Rich Mockingbird guitars, just really good. And another important thing to me is that, you know, you're not a total poser, like not trying to come off as a badass and not being a badass, right? So I told the story on the show before, and I'll just like give you the highlights. So I was playing in a band called Purple Susan at the time, and my singer Ashley, you know, he was a legit dude. You know, he wasn't a wuss. He boxed and, you know, could take care of himself. He's in good shape. Him and my guitar player at the time had gone out to Axis, and for whatever reason, they wound up face to face with Jay and one of his buddies in the men's room. And things got a little chippy. And my singer Ashley was pushing when he should have been punching. And fucking Jay hit him with 2 clean shots. And when he came home that night, he literally looked like Rocky Balboa at the end of the first Rocky movie. I mean, it was bad, okay? It was bad. So yeah, Jay was a badass. He was legit. The band had their look dialed in, I thought. The drummer, Sammy. So they had 2 drummers throughout the years. One was Ben Graves, who you probably remember from the Murder Dolls and my band, the Boston Brats. And Dave played with them as well.
Yeah.
But they had another drummer. His name was Sammy. And Sammy was so fucking cool. He was so underrated in Boston. A lot of people don't remember this guy. When I had met him first, he was dating my future wife at the time's roommate, Kristen. So I would go over to the apartment and Sammy would just show up to hang out with Kristen, you know, and we never really spent a lot of time hanging out or conversing or anything like that. I was just the other fucking hair metal dude in the apartment, like doing whatever I was doing in the other room. And he always reminded me of Razzle from fucking Hanoi Rocks. He wore like these really cool white leather shoes or Chuck Taylors. And he had like the, you know, the greasy long black hair. And he was just fucking cool. The band at the time, they got to play Great Woods a couple of times on the big stage. And, you know, anybody from not from Boston, that stage was like where we would see, you know, Poison or Motley Crue. That was the big venue. So they got an opportunity to play there twice. One time they played one song. Second time they were asked back, I think they got to play a couple more songs. The video was on YouTube. We'll try and link it if we can. They looked right at home on the stage. I mean, they looked fucking great. Roger, the bass player, you know, always dressed in really great black leather from head to toe, all tied up tight on the sides. Again, playing BC Rich basses. I really like this band a lot. I mean, back in the day, they were my competition, so fuck, I hated them, of course, and we fought like fucking cats. But no, I always liked this band. I had a lot of respect for them. They had a song that they were starting to play on AAF, so things were going in the right direction for Flash Addict. Unfortunately, bands like Godsmack were gaining traction here in Boston at the time. And, you know, I mean, this killed a lot of us, myself included. I remember Godsmack opening for us at the Rat. And I remember thinking, wait till the people that are coming to see them see me. Guess what? They never did, because the minute fucking Godsmack got off stage, everybody laughed. Okay. But yeah, so anyway, Godsmack was, you know, picking up traction. Bands like that were picking up traction. Things were changing in the city. And hair metal was falling out of flavor. It was no longer in vogue. And like Jay said, timing is everything. And unfortunately, timing was not on their side at this point. The song itself, everything you need in a good hair metal jam. Got the screamer vocals. You got good lyrics. You got sleazy as fuck guitars. So for me, Flash Addict gets a robust 87.5, and they definitely should have made it. There you go.
All right. Yeah, I watched the video. Stomping drum beat and wailing vocals. I did notice the cool BC Rich guitar. I think I saw the marquee for the Naked Eye Club in the old combat zone in this video. Did you know I used to have the brass pole from that club in my house?
No way.
Yeah, true story. Cool on stage footage too. I say yes, they should have made it. My score is 74.20.
They did a couple other videos. There's one out there for Zombie Box. They're working on one there. I've seen some cuts from it that he sent me that are really cool. So, Lisa, speaking of AI, I don't know if I should give this away, but I'm going to give it away. So in the new video for Zombie Box, which is a great Flash Addict song, Jay has got himself as a young Jay singing the song.
I saw that. Yeah.
Oh, it's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one. And
Remember, AI can lie to you and does a lot.
Yes, yes.
I just want to say that I chose this band not realizing it was Jay's, because I kind of purposely try not to choose my friend's band, because it's hard to review people that you know, right? So this was,
we want to be impartial.
Completely an accident. I didn't know. The reason I chose this band was because back in the day, this was a band I would purposely go out and follow around. And there were very few bands like that at the time. We would watch the big bands. We would go see our friends' bands. But this band, who I didn't really know that well, I purposely went out to see their shows, and a lot of my friends did too. And that's why I chose them. So he was totally our version of Sebastian. I remember I was dating a singer that you guys actually know at the time. And our relationship was crashing and burning. And I remember him being so mad that I would go out and see Flash Addict, because he was so jealous of Jason, because he looked so good, he sounded so good, so much better than him, and it was a big controversy. I liked how they kind of were in the style of like Slave to the Grind Skid Row, pretty much. Yeah, rather than being like pre Guns N' Roses glam. They were moving in that direction that I think if more of the glam bands moved that way, glam would have been saved, right? They dressed up. They weren't just out there wearing like t-shirts and jeans like they had just come from the mall or the supermarket or something. I want to see a band that puts in some effort, and they totally did. I can't count how many times I saw them. I chose Into the Smoke because it has like a reasonably professional video from back in the day on YouTube. It's not my favorite song by them. I kind of like maybe Angel Dust Suicide better than this one. I love that song. So go out and definitely check out some of their other songs. I liked how it was, basically sleaze glam and not like pop. We of course lost Alan, Damien Crash Alchemist, Alan Hutchinson. He passed of a brain aneurysm in 1999. Ben Graves also passed 2018 from cancer. He's from the Murder Dolls, of course, another one of my favorites.
And Pretty Boy Floyd.
And Anti-Product, which was a band, remember I showed you many episodes ago and you were like, that's Ben Graves. I was like, yeah, the Anti-Product. And Boston Brats, of course. There's a live video of them playing at Great Woods, which is a massive outdoor arena, basically size. It's, it's not stadium size or anything, but it's absolutely immense.
I think it's known as a shed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And the crowd is going absolutely nuts on this video. They're going crazy. I'm nearly sure I was at this show. This show was, there was a music festival called the Big Gig back in the day, and they won the music festival in 92 and 93. And I'm 99% sure that this is one of those appearances. They were so freaking good.
Yes, no, it was.
Yeah, they were playing One Way to Hell, I think, which is another great song by them that I could not find any like professional version of online to share with anyone. Jason wasn't scared to dance around and crawl on the floor and take his shirt off and have stage sex with the audience. And I can't tell you what great, of a show that they put on. These guys stood out in Boston. They stood out enough that me, a goth girl who was listening to death metal and crazy, techno back in the day, would purposely go out and see them. And that's why I chose them. So all of their members pretty much, at least, until their deaths, but even all of the others went on to other bands, Mud Buzzard, Crash Alchemist, Houndstone, Shoot the Moon, Narcotic, a ton of other bands involved with these guys. So check them all out. I loved them back in the day. I love them now. I way outscored them compared to you. I'm giving them a 98.9.
Woo! Well, I
Yep.
wanted to, I didn't want to sound like I was ball washing, you know what I mean? I had to keep it real. I mean, I'm a dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can find all of their stuff at Flash Addict at Reverb Nation. Flash Addict at Reverb Nation. So there you go. Go check that out. Lisa, what's the final score and where does Flash Addict land?
Okay, so Flash Addict, Into the Smoke on the Should They Have Made It chart falls into the number 2 slot with a total score of 86.87, just under zeros and just above the Love Tribe. And I believe we all said yes to the Should They Have Made It, right? So yes for Should They Have Made It. Yep. One of my favorites from back in the day. Number 2, only behind the zeros, and all behind the zeros by less than 1 point.
That is pretty good. I fucked them. I screwed them. I should have given them an extra point. Oh, boy. All right. So there you go. On to side B. All by itself. Crying into its pillow at number 6. One Night Alone.
It doesn't matter what they say. Love's too good to throw it away. All we need is one night alone. Just you and me. Won't you give me one night alone? 'Cause that's all I need. One night alone. You loving me.
Okay. So we get another big.
You are so Casey Kasem. It's unbelievable.
You're good at that.
we get, and I'm coming up with these on the fly, guys. We get another big 80s movie soundtrack chorus here, and I'm loving these 80s soundtrack choruses. You know what's funny? I'm not even at this point, I don't even care what she's saying. I'm not hitting her for the words anymore, the lyrics. I don't care. They sound fucking greasy smooth. They're produced to the gills. All the chords are right. Everything's falling right. All the melodies, harmonies. It just lends itself to a movie soundtrack. These songs all sound like, fly into the danger zone. Like it's just there. So this one for me would be playing behind Jim and Josie while they roller skate through the Target in the movie Career Opportunities. Just One Night Alone. That's all they needed.
Well, this one is another Greg Tripp and Jeff Paris composition. It also appeared on Jeff Paris's 1987 solo album, Wired Up. I get a little Bon Jovi vibe from this one. It was produced by Spencer Proffer. Great arena-ready chorus. Again, the Jeff Paris original is pretty similar, but yeah, I like this one.
Vocals enter immediately with the keyboards, giving us that really early 80s feel. And my first comment, again, another soundtrack song. So, yep, just the same as you does. Sounds like pretty much a bit of everything from the early 80s, even though this was the late 80s. And again, I'm wondering if this was another one of those songs that they had queued up from back in the day. It has a memorable hook, a cheesy storyline, maybe a little bit cringy, dreaming about a guy she wants to be with. She's looking at his photo. Does she even know him? Is this like she's looking at maybe a rock star or something? I'm not entirely sure. But at the end, we realize she's actually been on the phone with this guy and he won't see her in person. Maybe a precursor to what online dating would be in the future. Guitar solo isn't really until the play out, and it seems like it's a bit wobbly, and I'm not sure if that's the solo or the production. This song was, for me, just a bit too much cheese, too much keyboards when it needed thicker guitars. And again, I don't think that was the band's choice. I think someone else came in and steamrolled them. They wasted this hook and this song name on this because it was a great song name and a great hook.
Yeah, if they'd been selling these to 80s movies, these women would have been making money out the wazoo every time those, royalties that I think they missed out on. Locked Up all by itself for being naughty at the number 7 position, Hellraiser. So this one for me had the more traditional hair metal vibe. This is the first song in the album that I said, oh, here we go. There's a little hair metal. This one felt a little bit like Tesla to me, like kind of I can't think of the song, Right to Rock or something like that, maybe. Obviously not as good as Tesla, not as heavy, but this is hair metal. Honestly, I like this band way better when they're taking me on 80s coming of age adventures. But I was glad that they showed that they could do it. I mean, they were being billed as an 80s hair metal band, and I think they delivered on this one.
This one is credited to Scott Metaxas, Kenneth Dubman, and Janet Gardner, and Spencer Proffer, and is produced by Spencer Proffer. Rocking guitar riff, nothing wrong with that. The song itself is pretty bad. Lame lyrics. And so I'm going to perform some beat poetry here. Let's pretend it's the 90s again. Hell raisers. From town to town.
I love it.
Hell raisers. Never let you down. Hell raisers. Stepping out with jazz hands. Hell.
With jazz hands, he said.
Hell raisers. Let there be no doubt. You're welcome. This song sucks. How did it take 4 people to write? Jan should have used the cool guitar riff on a better song. This one's a no from me, dog.
Oh, Dave, you just brought me back to So I Married an Axe Murderer. I mean, I was there. I was in that little smoke bar. Lisa.
So for the name of this song, I'm expecting something angry or maybe sleazy. And while there's a good opening riff, and you just said Jan should have used this riff on another song, the production softened it so much and made it daintier and maybe more feminine. And I feel like when they wrote this, it wasn't like that.
They put a doily on this
They put
riff.
a doily on it. My God, what is going on? Why make them be gentle? Like, let these women just rock. Yeah. You can hear the underlying riff in this completely muted, and it should be angrier, like a Doro Pesh song or something like that.
Sure.
Were they like told to not be so metal so they could stay in the world of Bon Jovi? Because they weren't like that in their live shows. We've got a nice pre-chorus in this song that brings the music down, but when it comes back in, I wanted it to be heavy and like bang your head, and they had an outline of that, but it just was completely muted. Lyrics aren't really fantastic. This one didn't even need a story. It just could have been an anthem song like a Twisted Sister or a Youth Gone Wild or something, but they just went off track with it. I like the blues kind of stick ending that you would do in a live performance on the album. That was cool. I think a metal band could take this song and, metal it up and make it seriously rock. And I'm not sure why they were held back from doing this, because I don't think it was their intention. I think this was done to them.
Lisa, I think what happened here is they, like you said, the bones for a real hair metal song was here. And I think that they were afraid that if they actually produced it up that way, it wouldn't fit on this album.
Maybe.
It would have made the rest of the album look weak and pop. They would have been like, why didn't we get, 9 more songs like this? People would be saying. Yeah. So I think they kind of tried to just force the square into the circle hole. Like, it's metal, but it's still this, Smoldering at the number 8 spot, Love Made Me. So this one could be playing behind Jackie and Tony as Jackie tells him she can't let him treat her like shit anymore. And they should just be friends going forward. The movie is Staying Alive with John Travolta.
I knew you were going to do that one.
Overall, I really like this song. It's one of Jan's best guitar solos on the album. She fucking rips on this one. And again, when they're doing this style, I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. I don't want that hair metal song. I don't want that song to be heavier. I just want them to keep giving me these lovely fucking 80s montage movie choruses. This is where they're shining brightly for me. So I like this one a lot.
Yeah, this one was listed as the third single from the album. I have no memory of this one being out on MTV. It is written by John Keller, Marcy Levy, and Michael Caruso, and was produced by Cole and Nair. I did find a video for this one. It's live performance at an empty concert hall, like they're having band practice. The look is much less done up than in the previous videos. This is their casual / day off look. The video is fine. Jan plays a cool white flying V guitar. The song is very similar to the other hits. Doesn't look like it charted in the USA, but got to number 36 in the UK. It's not a bad song, but maybe I feel like they tried the same trick too many times, and this one just didn't measure up, at least for a single being released. Another song about love gone bad. The bridge is nice and a solid guitar solo.
Yeah, I just stopped listening to the lyrics. I was fine. I didn't need to know what these stories were about anymore. They just sounded good to me, so I was fine with it. I didn't want to analyze it.
The opening notes of this song start out as a banger, and then again they went to light and floofy. This one is a breakup song, which is a good theme, but I want it to be angrier. It's a great hook, great gang vocals, great song name, but they made it too Bon Jovi and not enough Motley Crue. Decent guitar solo here. There's some nice percussion on the play out. Why didn't we get more of this, guitar and percussion combination on the entire song and the entire album for this matter? The structure and the lyrics are right for a great song, but again, they went too sweet and it fell short.
Yeah, it did. Impatiently standing all alone at the number 9 spot, waiting. So, no movie here, just way too many rhymes. Overall, I didn't hate the song, but like in most of the songs, the lyrics are just very thin. I'm not trying to rip it apart. Like I said before, I kind of want to just let the whole thing unfold. But in this song, the chorus wasn't catchy enough for me to give it a pass. So I wasn't caught up in the spell of the song where I was able to just let these rhymey lyrics, go. I didn't like this one. I think the highlight again here was Jan's guitar solo. She started, I felt like the second half of this album, they really kind of let her go a little bit more. She had really nice tone in this song, guitar tone, and she had really nice feel in her. She had some really nice notes in this one. Overall, I didn't hate the tune, but it is definitely forgettable. Like I said, there was only one song on this album that I just really didn't like. So, it's fine.
Hey, a song written by the band. It's credited to Janet and Jan. Was the record company thinking nobody would be paying attention by this point in the album? They might have been right. This is a good album track, interesting riff, and it's different from the sappy pop songs, pushed elsewhere on the album. They should have let the band, in my opinion, have more creative input than they seem to have. Big vocal high notes at the end of this one, not bad.
This one was, in my mind, was a power ballad. It's not. It's like a low tempo rock song. I don't know why I remembered it that way. Good story. Waiting for a guy to come around and choose you rather than going out there and just getting what you want. This was the way in the 80s for women. If you went out and got what you want, you were called angry or a whore.
Whores!
So that's what, whores. And I heard this band called that for no reason whatsoever all the time. Not sure I like the hook, but I do like the bridge into the guitar solo. The guitar is finally lifted high off the mix. I'm glad it wasn't muted. But it's another song that went just too sticky sweet on the rest of it for me. We've got great musicians in this band. We've got a great singer. All the parts separately I feel are amazing, but it's almost like they, sweetened everything, produced everything. Did they pit these women against each other? I don't know what it is. It's like, all, if you watch them all separately and, even see them live, they're amazing. And then on this album, it was like they pitted them against each other for control and,
or they just undercut the whole band.
Yeah.
Completely. And say, honey, this is the way we make a record.
Yeah, right. Like
you just sit over there and
fix
we'll
your
take
makeup.
Care.
Fix your lipstick.
Go fix up your face and we'll take care of everything.
Ugh.
Make yourself useful. Make some fucking chili.
Nauseating.
Oh, shit.
Go get me some coffee.
She would hold my head down in that bat of chili if she ever heard me say it. All right. Standing on the corner, dragging on a cigarette in the number 10 spot, cruising.
Then you call every club you knew to find out what's going on as you slipped in your car. The feeling came on strong. You had to go cruising. You had to go cruising into our times. Cruising. Gonna burn it out to the red lines.
Okay, so let's end this album with Les and Dino, the boys cruising in Les's grandfather's Cadillac in the movie License to Drive. Right? I can see this one playing as they're ripping down the highway in the stolen Cadillac. As for the tune, the chorus falls a little short of some of the other choruses that are on this album, but this one was good enough for a movie soundtrack. So overall, it's fine. I was really happy to see that they really just took the top off of Jan's fucking, governor. They were like, Jan, just go for it, man. It's the last song. We're going to give you a run out. I thought she played great. We get the extended guitar solo. I mean, for a girl, damn, she's fucking ripping. I'm joking. She's ripping on this. Really, really great guitar work. As for the song, didn't love it, didn't hate it. It's a solid rocker to close out the album at this point. That's really all you could hope for. I thought it was a good ending to the album.
Yeah, this one was written by Janet and Jan again with the addition of some dude named Keith Krupp, which I looked for some information on him, but I couldn't find much of anything. I think he worked with them on something else at one point. Another cool guitar riff and some double kick drum. Good closing to the album.
I love the guitar opening on this song. I like that it might even be a little bit punk. It feels more natural and more gritty, a little bit more like how they were when they were live. But again, even though it's dirty by comparison to the other songs, it's still a little bit too sweet for me. I do love the hook on this song and the answer with the gang vocals. I like how in the vocals she gets a little bit cheeky like David Lee Roth, where in some of the spoken word parts. The lyrics are perfectly 80s, talking about trying to find a place to go, jumping in your car, and just driving around trying to find a band that's playing, which is exactly what we did.
I love it.
There was a line about calling the club to see what's going on.
Right? Like,
you have to make a phone call, kids.
I know. Like, it was so different. Like, you had to know where to go and where to meet your friends. It wasn't, there was no cell phones. There was no internet. It was a different world.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah. Bass comes through nicely on this song. It's been buried in the mix pretty much through the whole album. Nice dirty guitar solo, finally without as many effects. This sounds a lot more to me like I remember them. It's a great ending to the album.
Yeah, I liked it. All right, guys, so that's it. We have broken down Vixen's debut album, Vixen, for you. I hope that you guys enjoyed the conversation. I know I enjoyed talking about it with you two, like I do every week. Let's go in. We'll pick some favorite songs. We'll replace some members, and we will log this one for eternity. My favorite song, obviously, Edge of a Broken Heart, because it's a fucking great song. Song I would cut. I Want You to Rock Me, because it sucked ass. It's a terrible song. I would replace no members. I would remove the guitar from Janet's hands, she would no longer be playing rhythm guitar, and I would insert Lita Ford into this band as the rhythm guitar player. And I think that she could help with some songwriting and just add a little more to this band. Dave, same questions.
All right. My favorite track is Edge of a Broken Heart. It's the best song on the album. I would cut Hellraisers. Lame. And my replacement would be not replacing anyone. They are all excellent. I'd like to add a guitarist to beef up the sound and make all the keyboards less necessary. Wendy Melvoin from Prince's Revolution Band.
Cool. Yeah.
Great player and extra vocals and songwriting.
Oh, dude, Dave, and that would bring them even further towards the genre that I want them to be. So I really love it. Yeah, fuck Lita Ford. I want to go with yours. I'm going with Dave's. That's mine too. Lisa.
Favorite song is Cruisin', also Edge of a Broken Heart, honorable mention. I would cut One Night Alone, too dated and not in the good way. I almost picked Lita Ford. I didn't. So not a huge amount of options to pick because I'm going to honor Jan's wishes that this band remain an all-female band. And I'm going to actually put Joan Jett in, both as a singer and a guitar player. And also because I think she would have been able to withstand some of that maybe record company or engineer pressure to make these songs more pretty and give it a little grit.
Tell the record company guys to stuff it.
Exactly.
No, she'd say, suck my dick.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, that was Lisa. That was Lynn's choice too. She was like Joan Jett.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
And nothing against Janet because she's an amazing singer, but I think I just wanted some grit. So
sure. We'd put G.I. Jane in there. She'd fucking choke them out. Okay, good movie. You ever see G.I. Jane?
Yeah, I did. Amazing.
I like that movie a lot. I love that. I love that scene where she tells the drill sergeant to suck a dick. Okay, that's where she gets the respect of the other boys. Final thoughts and score. I will get it started as an 80s movie soundtrack pop rock album. This thing overall works for me. Would I sit down and listen to it its entirety again? Probably not. But I could see myself picking through this. There were some songs in here that I would like to listen to again as, kind of the way I like to sit down and watch St. Elmo's Fire from time to time. It kind of sparked a little spark inside me that brought me back to being a 15-year-old kid in 1985, watching MTV and watching all these great movies. So it was kind of a nostalgic feel for me that kind of warmed me up this album a little bit. So for me, the album is a little bit above average with some really solid choruses. And for that reason, it's pushing a 65.9. I would listen to this 1,000 times again before I'd listen to that ZZ Top album that Dave brought.
Oh my God, totally.
Dave.
Wow. Okay. These ladies are all excellent players, and the ones that are still with us are still kicking ass to this day. They continued the path started by girl rock bands like the Runaways and Heart, and maybe even cleared the way a little bit for gals to follow, like, the Spice Girls and the Donnas. I think they got steamrolled big time by the music business and their record label. Cher really revealed it in that quote from earlier that we talked about. The label didn't trust their skill, and as young ladies at that time in the 80s, maybe they didn't feel like they were able to push back on that. A unified approach to this album, one good producer working with the band to decide an artistic direction and focus might have resulted in a better album overall. It's a no for me on a re-listen, but, of course, we'll pick and choose some of the hits to check out once in a while. I like the band, and they're all solid musicians, but I'm giving the album a 52.5.
So just a hair over average for you. Yeah, 50's average. Lisa.
So my favorite part of going back to listen to all of these albums is to see how interconnected everything is. How many bands and musicians that people have crossed paths with. And Vixen didn't just disappoint. They had connections to everybody that we've talked about before, pretty much. When you think of these bands and say, like Vixen, they lived in a moment in time, right? And you remember them like this. But it's important to remember that these women went on to other careers, just like all the other guys did in the other bands, and did so much more than just this one band. For me, back in the day, I loved them for their fashion sense, and you know, we already had their style when they came out, so they looked like they could be my friends, right? It wasn't too long after this album release that I was firmly into the darker side of music. So this band was a little sticky sweet for me, both back then and now. I have them in my head in the same category as Bon Jovi, but you know, after listening to the album, soundtracks, or even a pure synth pop band is kind of where they ended up, right? Not really my style overall. And I also think that production or engineering did them dirty by adding keyboards where there didn't need to be, taking away strong guitars where they didn't need to do it, maybe to quote unquote feminize the album and make it softer. And they should have let these women just absolutely rock. I'd have rather heard this album in the same way that I heard them live, which was like total just badass, amazing.
Yeah, raw.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people never even got to see them live, and that's sad. You know, back in the day, they were amazing. It's not something I'm going to re-listen to, but I appreciate that these women helped pave the way for women in rock and music in general, and that's really important for me. And I'm sad to see the state of the world today, where it's getting worse for women now, and I'm sure we're all sad about that. I'm giving this album a 66.1.
Oh, we saw it exactly the same. Cool. All right, add up those scores and tell us where Vixen lands on the Violent Vinyl leaderboard.
Okay, on the Violent Vinyl chart, Vixen's 1988 debut album, Vixen, is appearing at number 23 with a total score of 61.5, putting them just above ZZ Top's Eliminator and just below Twisted Sister's Stay Hungry.
Okay. Yeah, it's right where it belongs. Okay, so there you go. Mr. Dave, you have got the next picks. Please tell us and the listeners what our homework assignment will be for the next 2 weeks.
Pardon me, I'm just on eBay buying a Vixen poster right now.
Ooh.
Hang up on my wall.
They look great too, all in leather.
To
Amazing.
cover the boogers on the ceiling.
So for our next album, we're going to check out from 1984, The Works by Queen.
Nice.
And for our feature, should they have made it, I am not incredibly familiar with this, but it is a New Jersey band from back in the day, the mid 80s. And they seem to have had some traction in the scene back in the mid 80s in New Jersey in the old days. Their name is Monroe, and the song is Won't Last Forever.
Is it like from that what was it? Too Close for Comfort with Monroe?
Monroe.
Monroe.
No, I believe they named the band after Marilyn.
Okay, and the song was Too Close for Comfort. What was it?
Yes.
No,
It
seriously.
was called Won't Last Forever.
Won't Last Forever. All right. On our sister podcast, hey, did you ever see that movie? It's spooky season right around the corner. So we're going to gear up by reviewing The Conjuring. Never seen
Amazing.
it. Oh, you.
Hey, there's a recent interview from the girl who was in that movie, the 12-year-old who played the young girl, and about some of the things that happened to her behind the scenes and still today. So check that out.
Interesting. I'll have to look at that too when I prep to do the movie.
Research.
Okay, guys, until next time, take those albums out of the sleeve and let the music breathe. We'll see you next time.